Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, surrounded by the Doctrinaires, Tim Andrews, Autumn Fisher, and, of course, a Jared Yamamoto.
Good morning, Eric.
I know you're excited. You were telling me that you already got your tickets to the Braves.
Yes, Thursday's NLDS Game 1, baby.
Even though he doesn't know what time it starts. I don't understand this. Why don't we know what time? It's only 2 days away. What's with the scheduling? It's either going to be, 5:05?
5:02 or 6:02. It's based on the wild card game tonight between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Washington Nationals. Whoever wins that game determines what time we have our first pitch.
I don't understand why that is, but I will take your word for it. Does it have something to do with time zones?
Yes, time zones.
If it's Milwaukee, we got to give them an extra hour to get here or something? Or
something like that, yes.
Okay. I don't know. Tim Andrews, you're looking puzzled. You're a baseball guy.
Yeah, I don't get it. When this time of year, I don't understand how they do things like that. I just don't get it. Because they have more now than when we grew up. Right. They have more playoffs.
Well, and the wild card play-in is a relatively new thing in baseball. Are they guaranteed to tell us today, or do they have up to like 30 minutes before game time?
We'll know once the winner of the...
Just get there at 3. You'll be there in time.
Once we know the final score of the Brewers and the Nationals game, we'll know what time we start. And I mean, regardless,
who would you rather see? I mean, who would you? Oh, I see. Because we know who we're going to play.
Yeah, we're playing the Cardinals.
It's the other game. It's the other game, and when that will be scheduled.
Exactly.
Based on okay, now I'm beginning to understand.
Now, my thing is, I'm going to get out to the Battery at 2:33, so that way.
So you're going to be a wreck.
Yeah, nice and toasty.
By first pitch, he's going to be a wreck.
That's
the
what
way
you want.
do it.
Come on, Braves fans out there want me to be a wreck. You don't want me to be anything less.
No. If they meet you out there, they want you to be a rambling, silly drunk. That's what they want from the producer of their favorite radio show. Let's do this.
Headlines for Tuesday, October 1st.
All right, Jared, before you get trashed, SunTrust Park on the Battery in a couple of days, give me the headlines.
Governor Kemp's decision just got a little harder after the Georgia House...
Governor Kemp's decision to do what?
To replace Johnny Isaacson, Senate seat. The Georgia House's second highest ranking Republican, Jan Jones, announced that
is that a woman? Because I've known guys named Jan before. This is a lady.
Then they used to own the Falcons.
I believe Jan.
Or
June,
coach him.
June Jones. That was June, not Jan.
Oh, okay.
Jan was his lovely wife, I believe.
All right.
June and Jan.
June
Jones.
and Jan. All right, I'm sorry,
Great couple,
Jared.
as I recall.
Well, she announced that she wants Johnny Isaacson's seat. So your decision just got a lot tougher, Governor Kemp.
You don't even have to announce. The idea is you put your resume in. I think it's not even your resume. There's something online. We should get it, and I should fill it out.
You should.
We should find out what this is that people have to fill in. I like to do it on the air.
Probably a ZipRecruiter or something like that.
No. I think that there's something online
Indeed.
that Brian Kemp has put something online, and you go in and you fill it out. And if that's true, ask the real news people around here if that's true. See if we can find it. I'd like to be able to throw my hat in the ring, and we'll fill it out right here. You wouldn't mind having me in there, huh?
Well, I'm going to look at everybody that submits, and if you muster enough information to get me into it, I'll go ahead and put you out there, Scott.
It's Eric. My name's Eric. Governor Kemp, my name is Eric.
Nice to meet you again, Scott. I wanted to say this time around, what's her name?
Jan Jones.
Yeah. Jan has just as much chance as anybody.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I was going to say, I think I like the concept of the transparency here because people often, there's one guy who used to be the governor of Illinois. He's still in jail because of the way he got rid of one of these Senate seats. So I appreciate that, but I think it's all baloney. I don't think in reality someone could put their resume in at the last second and go, and Kemp will be like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, this
one's good."
Right, this hardware store owner from Macon, he really seems like he knows what he's talking about.
If all else fails, David Ralston's got my nod.
Yeah.
It's going to be Doug Collins, I think. I think the whole thing is a big show. I think it's going to be Doug Collins because you have to hold the seat, and I think Doug Collins has shown through his committee work in the House and his appearances on TV that he's ready for prime time. Yeah.
So you don't think Governor Kemp can be swayed by a really good cover letter?
Yeah.
Well, listen, you send me a box of cookies, we'll talk.
Cover letters used to, I think, talk about your skills, how you would be an asset to the company. But more and more, I think cover letters, I'd love to talk to CEOs about this, more and more cover letters are probably about something that happened in the individual's life and how they overcame it. Because that's the big thing now. Whereas if I was looking to hire people, I would give you a pat on the head and say, that's fantastic. Doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you would be an asset to my company, however. But it seems to me that's where I know in college, if you want to get into a good college, the cover letter used to be, I did this, I was a member of 4-H, I got a blue ribbon in this, I've been active in this, I've been active. Now it's, as a kid, I was bullied for X, and I did Y about it and rose above it, and all right, kid, C+ student, get him in here. We need diversity like this on our campus. And my guess is that cover letters for corporations are pretty much the same now.
Stacey Abrams wrote a real nice cover letter.
Yeah, it says she won the
17 and a half pages long explaining how she won the governorship, and I should give her this.
Yeah, and you should give her this, and also how she rose above it. I believe Stacey Abrams is all about elevating her own voice. No, it's which voice is she into elevating? Is it hers or ours? I get confused sometimes. Well, you would be a political adversary, but you might be onto something there.
Well, bring her on in. That's what I say.
Well, the Von Haessler Doctrine is here to make life easier for you. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Doesn't happen very often, but I'm going to tell you. It's going to be Doug. It's Eric. My name is Eric. It's Doug Collins, I believe, is going to, unless Doug Collins doesn't want it, but he seems ambitious, and I don't know why he wouldn't want to be in the Senate. It'd be very difficult to beat when he re-ran for the seat. Next story.
Mitch McConnell says that the Senate would have no choice but to take up an impeachment if the House votes to effectively charge President Trump.
I don't believe you. Do you actually have audio of him saying that?
Actually, I do, Eric.
Okay, then that'll bring a little more veracity to the story.
It's a Senate rule related to impeachment that would take 67 votes to change, so I would have no choice but to take it up. How long you're on it is a whole different matter.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is he feels he has to take it up, but he could do it. And I think that the Democrats did the same thing to the Republicans, but in the House last time. They severely limited, with Clinton, they severely limited the amount of time there was for debate on the House floor. I think in the Senate this time around, Mitch McConnell's saying, look, I have to take it up. But if he looks and he sees that at best one or two Republicans are going to vote with the Democrats, and he knows it's a fait accompli, he can certainly say, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to have 1 day of debate or 2 days of debate, or he can schedule it to where the whole thing's over in 4 days. If you already know what the outcome is going to be, it doesn't do Republicans any good to have a long, protracted trial in the Senate. So do it in 1 day or 2 days or however quickly you can. Get it wrapped up. He's not going to be removed. I got to tell you that it's interesting now. I've gotten to the point now where I'm not watching any television because all I ever watch is news and sports for the most part. And I've found with this impeachment thing, which is going to be with us for a while, it looks like Schiff's idea. I said this yesterday, and then I read more yesterday after we got off the air, that led me to believe it's true. This is not going to stretch out into next year, into the Iowa caucuses. They know they can't remove the president. Really what this is about is to try to damage the president going into the next election. So it's in their interest to wrap this up by December, have him impeached, the Senate doesn't remove. You go into January and February in the caucuses and the primaries, and you've gotten everything on the table that might help you later on without getting in the way and being said that you're getting in the way of the actual primaries and caucuses. So I think that's the way that it's going to do. They're going to wrap it up quickly and go for it. But since the impeachment thing started, I find that much like, how I am with mass shootings, as soon as they happen, I just don't watch 24-hour news for a week because it's all exploitation. There's nothing new. There's nothing for me to learn. I know what's going to happen. I know the template, victims, pundits talking about how we need more gun control, and then 5 days in, this town is resilient and will rebuild. It's really not the same story on the ground everywhere, but from the point of view of 24-hour news, it's the same story, and so there's nothing but exploitation that stands out for me, so I stay away from it. This impeachment thing, it's kind of the same thing, and this could go on, like I said, till December. I may not be watching any news. I'm just not interested in the templated, I know what's going to happen. Here's a story, and then, well, here we are. We have so-and-so from the left and so-and-so from the right. As I said yesterday, they will spew talking points past one another until we get to the end of this segment, and I, the neutral host, will tip my hand and let you know what I think, whether it's Fox News, MSNBC, or CNN. So it's just boring. And you add on top of that I can't watch sports TV this week, and that's usually how I get away from news TV is I watch sports TV. But I'm not in the mood to see a bunch of pundits overreact to one really bad game by Josh Allen and talk about how it's – because in the sports world, it's the same thing, narratives. A lot of people didn't believe he could make it in the NFL, so one big game. And so all week long now, I have reasons – it's amazing. Yesterday, I cleaned up my entire house. I'm home alone. My wife's in England, so I had like 2-3 hours opened up because I didn't watch sports TV or news. I may never go back. I like having a clean house. So this impeachment and Josh Allen's horrible game is it's paying its dividends for me in my life. Yes.
Oh, you didn't like that thrilling 0-3 matchup between the Bengals that are 0-3 and the Steelers that were 0-3 last night?
I fell asleep on that one.
Oh, you did.
I heard the Bengals got crushed though. And I'll tell you what, when you look at the stories, it's just like, I don't know how things are going to end. I can tell you what I think. He's going to be impeached because it doesn't matter if it's a good reason or a bad reason. Democrats have decided impeaching is the best thing going into the election next year. That's going to happen. He's not going to be removed. And then we all have to wait and see how that lands with the electorate, with the people, and when they go to the polls. But it's the same thing as far as coverage goes as what we saw in the Russian collusion story. First of all, Trump speaks the way Trump speaks all the time. And then when it has to do whatever one of these stories are, they make a big deal out of things. Like yesterday, the big deal was Trump's threatening a civil war. That's great for all the young people who don't actually click and read the story. But he never said that. He retweeted something from a pastor who said it will be Civil War-like. That's a big difference between saying a civil war where people die from bullets. He was saying Civil War-like, and what the pastor meant was it's going to tear us apart, brother versus brother, with words, not with guns. He retweeted that, and everybody got rid of the like because what a good story. This president, who we've told you how dangerous he is, here's one more example of how dangerous he is. So that's going to start. Then I saw this on CNN Politics. Trump allies concerned he doesn't understand gravity of impeachment fight. We heard the same thing early in the Russian. And really what this, let me say that again. So it's CNN Politics. So I'm going to give you their headline and then give you the real headline, what it really means, what they're really saying. Trump allies concerned he doesn't understand gravity of impeachment fight. This is the press saying, we have sources that tell us that the president doesn't quite understand how powerful we are and how much we can damage him. That's what it's because the gravity is that 2 reporters brought down a president 40 years ago. That's still all the way through the Russian thing and all of these is, hey, politicians, don't forget, 2 reporters, unknown before this story, 2 reporters took down a president 40-some years ago. That's the gravity. But if you think about where the press is now, all of them, conservative, liberal, all of them, they have lost so much legitimacy. And it's beginning to happen now, I think. I said this about 2 or 3 years ago. If it looks like Trump can be reelected, watch the press lose its mind. Because what you may not be thinking about and what might just be dawning on editorial rooms all over this country is, if Trump wins, I don't know who's going to win. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm telling you about reality. If Trump wins, the press has lost almost all of their gravity, all of their ability. If Trump is able to get reelected with 4 years, because my guess is they're not going to lay off anytime soon, with 4 years of unrelenting negative, some counts put it at 91 to 92% of all news stories since this guy announced he was going to run for president have been negative. And if you can do that, plus get impeached and still win re-election, what gravity does the press have anymore? Remember that Johnson remarked that when I lost Cronkite on the Vietnam War, I lost the Midwest. I lost the Midwest. I lost the people. That was the strength in the late 60s, early 70s of the press, then followed by Watergate, 2 reporters, the strength, the power that the press had to change history and events in this country. Well, that goes down the drain. Again, I'm not telling you who to vote for. This show is not like other shows. This is not a movement. This is a show based on current events where we try to have some fun and figure things out. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I am here to tell you what's going to happen in one situation or another. And if Trump gets reelected after 4 years of unrelenting negative press and an impeachment, the press will be exposed as an emperor with new clothes. Hey, that rhymes.
The Von Haessler Doctrine.
If you think there's a crisis at the border, spend a few minutes inside Eric's head. This is the Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB.
And people may be saying, Emperor's new clothes, Eric? I thought it was Emperor's no clothes. Well, look into it. According to my analogy, which if you missed, you'll have to download the podcast. You got to keep up with this show, people. I'm not going to go backward for you. But Emperor's new clothes, if you know the story, would the press would be the emperor, and it works better. We all know it as the emperor has no clothes because the kid finally yells that he's naked. But I know my Hans Christian Andersen, let me tell you. And don't challenge me on these sort of things. You got another story?
Yes, the Ukrainian embassy
You're reading this off your phone?
Yes.
Wow, this must be 2019.
Yes.
Walter Cronkite never read no story off his phone.
He had a newspaper like a gentleman.
He sat there.
Someone hand me my iPad.
Yeah, when things would be really, really heavy duty, he'd slowly remove his glasses.
I can't abide Johnson's war.
Is that Nixon or Cronkite?
I don't know. Wrong decade.
So the Ukrainian embassy, guys, is begging the public to stop using the Ukraine after the latest Trump flub.
Yeah, Trump has been saying the Ukraine,
yes.
the Ukraine. I said this long ago. I'm a stickler on this. Autumn, who fancies herself some sort of linguisticologist with the language, is not with me on this, but it's not the Ukraine. It's Ukraine. Also, it's not the Eurythmics. It's Eurythmics. Also, it's not the Foo Fighters. It's Foo Fighters. You got that, Trump? Repeat after me. Ukraine.
I love the Foo Fighters.
No,
I would love to see them in the Ukraine.
Check. WSB free gas giveaway. I ain't around, mother. We're going to give away some free gas. Wow, that foul mouth. I don't know what that's all about.
I like this show.
I'll tell you what, the host gets excited when he gives giving away free gas. So stick around. Top of the hour. Obviously, it's the 37 point of this hour. So when I say top of the hour, people, let me hold your hands. I'm talking about the next hour. Top of the hour. Stick around.
23 minutes still.
We will call the next name in the free gas giveaway. Check. WSB free gas giveaway. I ain't around, mother. We're going to give away some free gas. If you ask the question, is the host of this show into the free gas giveaway? There's your answer. Let's do this.
Sparring with Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe
Yes.
comes in and talks about, we go over health and lifestyle stories. Do you think that counts as working blue if it's bleeped?
Yes.
Am I working blue?
No. It's not blue if it's
No,
bleeped.
it's
blue and blue is sexual, not
blue.
just cursing.
Blue is cursing. Working blue is cursing. as comics back in the 50s and 60s even worked blue when they swore.
They had blue laws.
They had blue laws, which meant that you couldn't curse on a Sunday.
Yes. No, on stage too.
They had blue laws. You couldn't curse on stage. Is that why Lenny Bruce got arrested? It wasn't because of sexual stuff. It's because of just saying the bad words. But I don't know if that's working blue. I think you're right. If bleeped, not blue. That's what I'm going with. Also, could be the name of today's show. If bleeped, not blue. All right,
Writing
Joe?
it down. Got
you
it.
on board?
I'm with it, man.
All right. Jarrett, what? Were you going to say something?
I just love the way you come up with the names of your shows.
Yeah, of course. It's just right off the top of my head. All I need. Listen, I was born rather brilliant. I'm going to be honest with you.
You were, okay.
And I've done everything I can to get rid of most of those brain cells. But there were so many in the beginning that I still have, even working on fumes as I am now, my 55th year. I can just come up with these things, no problem at all. I was my kids always come over to watch football on Sundays, and as they were walking out, I don't know why this picture is around, but we haven't seen it in a while. But it's a picture of me from first grade with a bow tie. And my kids were like, that was a very different era. And it's really true. I looked at it. I was like young Sheldon or something, Like I was like really, all right. I remember lecturing my older brothers about the perils of drug use.
See?
And people would look at me and think, oh, there's a future president. Look at him with his lunchbox and his bow tie. This kid's going places.
How the great have fallen, yes.
Well, it really is true. It really is true. Drugs kept me from that, but didn't keep me from this. That's the great thing about radio. Yeah. You can fake your way through radio. All right, Dr. Joe. Jared, do you have some stories for us?
I do. I have a study from McMaster University.
McMaster University.
Yes.
I've never heard of it, but the word master is in there. Therefore, I'm assuming
Irish.
they know.
Irish
they
masters,
know
yes.
what they're talking about.
You know they're good. So this study says there's no need to cut down on red and processed meat, guys, in your diet.
Oh, I love this, Dr. Joe, who's Mr. Diet.
Yes.
Who's Mr. Diet. And
Dr. Diet is his name.
I like it. There you go.
Doctor, don't eat anything you enjoy. Esposito.
Be miserable and live forever. That's my goal,
yeah.
yes.
Live a miserable, long life with Dr. Joe. This seems to happen quite a bit. The government tells us, now this is one study, it could be challenged, but brings up the point that the government is always telling us what we should and shouldn't do, and what we should and shouldn't eat, and what we should and shouldn't smoke. We're now with the vaping.
Right.
So, but everything gets changed over time. When I remember in 7th grade, home economics, the teacher said, it's just this simple, kids. You can't drink too much milk. That was in the late 70s. Yes. Then that got turned around. Then it was back. Butter was supposed to be bad for you. When I told people from the very beginning, first of all, butter makes everything better. Okay? That's number one as far as flavor goes. And you're going to tell me that manufactured oil, garbage, margarine, oleo is better for you than actual butter?
Oleo.
Turns out butter was better. Butter was better. And now, you have meats. Then processed foods isn't going to give everybody cancer. What say you, Doctor, don't enjoy yourself?
This study is a bunch of junk.
Yeah, really.
Yes, because they say if you cut down just 3 they did the study, cut down 3 servings of meat a week, and they didn't see anybody get any healthier.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't mean it doesn't mean you weren't sick from eating the meat. It just means you weren't healthier if you cut back just 3 servings.
Okay, so it's one study. I'll give you that it's one study,
yeah.
but it fits into a line of these things where the government tells you the do's and the don'ts, and then they change them 10 or 15 years later. Hey, all my young millennial climate change believers, just telling you, remember, home economics, I'll put it this way, you can't drink too much milk. Yeah. I'm sure how many people died of heart attacks in the 90s because of that advice.
You're a home ec teacher.
A home ec teacher.
Let me tell you this.
Yes, this is anti-Dr.
Anti-Dr. Joe says to have 3 servings of red meat every day. Cook it as long as you can because you want it to be no red, no blood at all, and just chew on it. And listen, if you have 21 servings of red meat up to 16 ounces 3 times a day, your colon will love you forever.
Yeah, and you're going to live to know
and you will live forever. Yeah. You'll even start mooing.
I think when it comes down to ultimately, Dr. Joe, this is what I would say to you, this is what I would say to the government, moderation in all things. Moderation in all things.
Moderation is for monks.
Moderation is for monks. I thought actually monks, it was more than moderation. Monks are, I'm swearing things off. Moderation is, you can have a little bit of ice cream here or there. Yeah, you can have a steak, but you don't want to have 3. You don't want to eat burgers for 3 straight days. You want to mix up things, have a moderation.
Yeah, I want extreme health. I don't want moderate health. I want extreme
Have you
health.
noticed we're all living much longer than we used to?
Yeah, but
I had my eyes
And what does it
checked.
mean to have extreme health? What is that?
Yeah.
Extreme health is not getting sick, having energy, feeling young again, brain still working, not being overweight, having good bowel function,
Not having to take a BM in the middle of lunch.
There you go, right?
Which proves that Tim Andrews is very far from good health.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just say moderation in all things.
Okay.
Moderation in health is what you're saying too in that arena, because to say extreme health means that you can't enjoy something that you might want to enjoy. That's health is part of life, but also life is also part of
love
your
my
health.
life. I'm happier every day.
First of all, she's defensive because she knows she's not dropping this baby weight, okay? She's defensive.
Listen, I have a mother's apron, but I'm 37 years old and I have 2 kids.
No, you're 37. So, do you say 47 or 37?
37.
Okay, 37.
Okay.
So you're a little bit defensive there. And the one thing that you're not allowing with your lifestyle thing is that all of these things that you say no to, over time, after a while, you actually do feel better. And that is part of a quality of life, more than you're going to get from that muffin that you're dying for in the moment.
Eric, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah?
I'm disagreeing with Joe.
How come it feels like we're disagreeing then?
That's because
What's
you're in
going
some
on?
kind of mood with me.
What's going on between you
That
and
has
me?
nothing to do
What
with
are you
me.
doing?
That has
You gotta
something to do with
drop
you.
that baby weight. I think that's what it is.
You want this
bothering
baby
me.
weight on top of you, I bet.
Sparring with Autumn Fisher.
Sounds like it's somebody's time of the month, right?
Anti-Dr. Joe.
Well, that's how they are.
Dr.
That's how
Jones.
they are.
Are you keeping up with my cycle? Because you're not wrong.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I hate that. I hate that when stereotypes are true. It kind of blows my whole narrative.
I can tell by the way they talk.
Yeah. You can see in somebody. Was it Dr. Joe? Were you the one telling me you can see things in people's eyes? And I was another doctor I was with says he can see. You can look in somebody's eyes and tell if they have some sort of disease or something.
Yes, that's iridology, actually. That's
Iridology?
Iridology.
I thought that was when you looked into somebody's ears.
No, that's
Weirdly, that's iodology.
Iridology, yes.
Somebody's trying to mess with us. All right, next story.
All right, this next story comes from Oklahoma News Channel 4, guys.
Oh, they're good.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to Oklahoma news,
They're the best in Oklahoma.
there is no WSB out there. You got to go for News 4.
Popular heartburn drugs, guys, are being recalled over cancer worries.
Yeah, now I've seen this. They're finding they're finding a little bit. It's this. It's not the stuff that's in most of these pills, right? It's the stuff that's in Zantac.
Right, it's NDMA, yes.
And is that not in Pepsid AC and the other things? Because it seems like they're talking about Zantac
and its generic versions,
equivalents. What is that? Ranitidine.
I thought it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, so it doesn't affect you the same way.
Well, it shouldn't, but whenever they find a little bit of something that's a cancer-causing agent in anything,
right,
people freak out. Supposedly, the levels are just a little bit above what you would find in most foods, things like that. Again, I want to go back to this in the midst of all of these. Has anybody noticed that we're all living longer? I was going to say before that I had my eyes checked out, and I was told by the eye doctor that we're now dealing with things that you never used to have to deal with. You want to know why? People didn't live long enough.
Yeah, you died before it became a problem.
So a lot of these lenses in your eyes and stuff, it happens to everybody. Everybody, ends up with these problems. But
I'm
it
losing
used to
my
be,
eye juices.
Yeah, everybody used to die between 45 and 60. So it never happened. So that's the backdrop to all of these things. A lot of people have taken Zantac for a good number of years.
Yes.
Whether or not we're going to see a bunch of those people suddenly get cancer now. I guess how would you look at this? The same percentage of those people should get cancer as the general public, and then it's not affecting.
Here's the thing with these antacid medications and these acid reflux medications. If you ever read the directions, which no one ever does,
take 5 and call me in the morning.
2 weeks that you're supposed to take them, and then stop.
Not your whole life.
Not your whole life. And the problem is when you take these things, it neutralizes your stomach acid, which means now you can't absorb things like calcium, B12, iron, magnesium. So it never treats the cause of the acid reflux. It treats the symptoms.
I
Of
stopped.
the acid reflux.
I used to take a lot of Pepsid AC, and I stopped doing that.
Good.
For the purpose, just for the reasons that you're talking about, because you're just sort of faking out your stomach.
Right.
It used to be, as you grew older, you had to grow wiser with your diet and your pain. People have to remember. Look, I don't like pain. No one likes pain, but it is there as a warning. And so if you remove the warning signs from your gut that you're too old to be eating these foods, the damage the foods are going to the toll they're going to take, they're still going to take.
Yes.
You're just not going to be warned about it.
Yes.
And so I think that it's probably better to get a warning.
Yes.
Okay, Eric, you can't do lemonade 2 afternoons in a row.
You can do
it once.
Celery juice works very well.
What?
Celery juice.
That doesn't sound who hears celery juice and perks up? Wow.
Aside from
somebody
me?
say celery juice?
Yeah.
How do you make it? How do you squeeze it?
You got to squeeze it with your hands.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or
You
blend
You put the stalk in your mouth, you just suck.
We can actually adjust the stomach. We can
Baseball
pull
player.
the stomach down away from the diagram so you don't have acid reflux
Is that
anymore.
what you do when you're playing around with my stomach?
With your
Because I thought
stomach?
you were hitting on me.
No,
It's
it's
Ooh,
twofold
your
here.
stomach
Yeah.
is so high up.
Ooh, well, let me rub that down a little bit for you.
Oh, let me go ahead and move your internal organs with my hands.
No,
So-
you can fix the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. You don't have to worry about
Isn't that always the case? We should always look
Yes.
at what is the cause of the problem,
Yes.
and treat that rather than just the symptoms. Because
That's-
usually when the symptom thing works, it's just turning off
Yes.
the receptor that says, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing this."
Correct.
And that's dangerous.
Correct.
I was talking about the audience, Dr. Joe. I don't care about
you don't
the
care about
actual
yeah.
Doctrinaires.
No, yes. Your audience
I care
depends
about
on
the
you.
audience.
Yes.
Yes. Well, another story.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal poses a question, guys. Does getting stoned help you get toned? Gym rats are embracing marijuana.
Now this, I was at a wedding and a nephew told me that, and he's in really good shape. He works out all the time, and he told me I get super stoned before I work out, and I think I don't see those things going together. To me, any kind of alcohol, any kind of recreational drug is the work's done, my feet are up, I'm relaxing. And the breathing. I would think that it would affect the breathing,
If
but
you're
not with these
smoking
people.
stuff. Well, this study, she said she'd made cookies with pot in it there,
Right.
the THC, and she's getting stoned. I'm going to agree with you with this one. This is real dangerous because if you're stoned, you start doing weird stuff.
Or I mean, you think you're super focused. I don't know that getting high actually makes you as focused as you think you are. I think
Right.
it can make you believe that you're super
Right, yes.
focused. And if you're dangling around, hundreds of pounds of weights at the time, that might get dangerous. Yeah.
And it also makes you linger on the equipment for too long. If you're that high like that, you'll end up sitting there on your phone for forever. It's like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Alan Hunt says you're getting tossed out.
Yeah, and Jared dances better when he drinks, I heard.
Jared does everything better when he drinks. Just ask his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there should be a firewall between recreation and focused work, whether it's your work or whether it's working out. To me, recreational, whether you're whatever you're doing to get happy, needs to happen after the work's done and the feet
I'm
are up.
agreeing with
because
you on that one.
You're not as focused as you think you are.
Yes.
Would you tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Yes, Sunday nights right here on WSB, 7 to 9. I have my live show, and my website is over 1,000 hours of podcast, drjoe.com.
What a braggart. Hour 2, of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Oh, what the heck. Let's just go ahead and get it started. So
More
many
headlines for
out
Tuesday,
there.
October 1st.
Don't interrupt me when I'm saying my thing.
I apologize, Doctrine Voice Lady.
Thank you so much. Excuse me, I'm talking.
What happened with the Doctrine Voice Lady? She used to know her place.
I've been having some chats with Autumn in the afternoons.
Oh, don't let her corrupt you. You're doing it right.
She made some really great points.
She's doing it wrong, yeah. But let me ask you this, Doctrine Voice Lady. Have you taken off the baby weight?
Bringing up someone's weight is inconsequential for how they do their job. For October 1st, 2019.
All right, what do you got?
Wallet Hub ranks Atlanta.
Wallet Hub. That is a large hub located somewhere in the middle of Atlanta where everyone stores their wallets.
Yes.
That's
right?
where my wallet went.
That's where your wallet goes.
It's
Lose your
drawn
wallet,
to it.
Lose your they all learn. They have some sort of inner compass.
Where's my wallet?
Well, the wallet will
Have
eventually.
you checked the wallet hub, honey?
Yeah, go to the wallet hub.
So
I don't have time for that.
Wallet Hub ranks Atlanta the 6th best city for vegetarians and vegans, guys.
Oh wow, that makes me. I'm neither a vegetarian nor a vegan.
Wish
but
Dr. Joe were still here to talk
Yeah.
about that. That's a great thing. He'd be very proud of Atlanta.
Is it necessarily a good thing to be a vegan? I feel like vegan. That's a long ways. Like, what are you eating? You know, what are you eating?
You're only eating plant-based material.
Right. Nothing that casts a shadow.
And what? Let me just say this: plants cast a shadow.
Right.
Paul
Depends on what kind of vegan you are.
Paul McCartney used to say, "I don't eat anything with a face."
No, I don't eat not even clocks.
So, yeah, I don't even know that it's necessarily a great thing to be a vegan. It seems a bit extreme to me. But you know what I would like to say, and I haven't had one, and I never will have one. My wife tried to fool me with an ostrich burger once. Supposed to taste the same, but it was leaner. One bite in it, I'm like, what the hell is this? Tasted gamey and mealy, and it was not like a hamburger at all. But this fiction that's out there about the Impossible Burger and Beyond Burger and Beyond Meats and all this, this is, from what I can see, now I have not tasted it. I have no need, because if I want a burger, I'm going to get one from a cow. I'm not going to go to the cow. I'll use a fast food restaurant or a nice restaurant to get it as the go-between.
You don't go to the grocery store?
Maybe the grocery store.
Okay.
But I'm pretty lazy. I'd rather just have a burger made, get it in a bag, go home. But I haven't tried one. But if you look at, people are saying this is just a sham. These things taste terrible. I have friends who are vegetarians that have tried the Impossible Meats and the Beyond Burgers and all that. And my vegetarian friends say, not good. But there's this fiction out there that everybody loves them and no one can tell the difference between. So now in the future, Eric Von Haessler, the only reason you wouldn't have an Impossible Burger is because of a cruel heart that feels the need to kill animals in order to eat. When in reality, it's baloney, not wordplay.
Not even as good as bologna.
Not even as good as, it's not baloney. Or I'm saying it is baloney. It is not baloney. So I think that sooner or later that's going to come crashing down, and capitalism will be the thing, because these things are starting to do IPOs and go to Wall Street, and Wall Street's good for the first headline and the first cycle. They'll jump into nonsense. But after a while, it's going to be obvious. People that are vegetarians are going to try this stuff. They're not going to like it, and the stock price will fall. And because you can't fool capitalism. At first you can, but over time you can't. The reality is that the Impossible Burger, it tastes nothing like a burger. It's terrible.
Do you want to know what city is the most fooled at the moment for 2019's best cities for vegans and vegetarians?
What do we got?
So Atlanta's 6th, right?
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon, number 1, ranked with best for the vegetarians and the
that's
vegans.
Great. If you want to fight off Antifa, go there and
They'll beat you over the head while you're eating.
Hey, look, if you vote exactly the way that all of your neighbors demand, Portland's a wonderful place to live. If you have any individuality in the way that you think about the world, who the hell would go to Portland?
Oh, for weed.
Honestly, if you like, yeah, but it's available everywhere. It's illegal all over the place now. We did not have a winner for the 95.5 WSB free gas giveaway. That means you'll have a chance to win $700 in free gas at 4 o'clock today. You got to listen to the other white Eric Erickson. And if he calls your name, you'll have 9 minutes and 55 seconds to return the call and claim your $700 in free gas. Here's the thing. We can't call your name if we don't have your name. So you need to go to WSBradio.com or use your WSB Radio app to sign up. So I guess it's good. I got nothing against vegans and vegetarians. What the hell? But I'm not buying lies. And this is Impossible Burger propaganda is complete lies. You'll see. It'll fall like a house of cards, I tell you.
More important than being a vegan, you should be able to learn how to make flour out of crickets so you can make something with cricket flour and not,
doesn't Oprah have a pizza like that?
Things. Yeah, she has a cricket pizza.
If the cauliflower pizza isn't good enough.
Cauliflower pizza, and also we throw in the cricket flour, and then we make it the pepperoni out of pigeons.
Can I give you some advice? Just don't tell people what it is. It's like if the cricket flour tastes like flour, just feed it to people and don't tell them. Because once you tell me it's crickets, I'm not going to like it. It can be the best tasting flour in the history of the world, but if you tell me it's crickets, I'm not going to like it.
No. You're going to eat it whether you like it or not.
Yeah, because eventually that's the only thing that's going to be left.
Yeah, when you're president. When can AOC be president? Because she can run in 28.
11 years.
Can she run in 24?
I don't understand why I can't just be president
30.
now.
Because the Constitution says you have to be 35, I believe.
Yeah, but the Constitution was written really long time ago.
That is true.
Trying to
By
keep,
white people.
women mature a lot more quickly than men.
Don't forget white men. Don't forget to toss that one in there.
Right. And so it was all written by white men, and it's just not cool.
What if your air conditioning was built, manufactured, and installed by white men? Would you remove it and just sit there and sweat all day just to not be a part of
what
the
I
privilege?
would do? I might hire a female air conditioning specialist or whatever they are, and just have her come and double check.
Okay, but what
because
if
a lot of men will dismiss, and say, "Oh, she's just having a hot flash because she's in menopause."
No, I'm not saying it goes broke. I'm saying it works perfectly fine. But you realize that you are benefiting from white privilege because white people conceived the idea of an air conditioner, manufactured it, and then installed it, and you'd be sitting in it, living off of the white privilege around you. Would you, in that circumstance, have it removed and sit there and swelter?
I think that getting back to nature is something that we're really missing in this country.
Yeah.
And, being more in touch with the weather and the systems in the air, the heat or the cold. I just don't see why that is really that big of a problem.
So
honestly.
you're willing to show up on Capitol Hill drenched in sweat because you woke up and it was 90 degrees in your apartment.
Well, I can always walk to the Starbucks near my house, so I could always hang out there if I get too hot.
Yeah, but they have air conditioning.
They have air conditioning, and that same air conditioning is invented by the same.
Right, but I didn't start the Starbucks. You know what I mean?
AOC said she just put her hair up in a bunch. She'd be fine.
That's right. Yeah, just go for it.
And then that's really sexy, because you take it down from the bun and you shake your head and you're like, whoa, the nerdy girl's really hot.
All right, AOC, we don't need to know this part.
She's all pitted up and she's drenched in sweat and she smells.
Yeah. But honestly, that kind of thing, it holds in your pheromones. And, you think that hairy armpits are not a good thing, but actually it's kind of a seducing quality.
Her soy boy loves it.
Yeah.
Next.
Presidential hopeful Kamala Harris made a brave plea, guys.
By the way, I like the word hopeful there because it's not going to happen.
I'm hopeful that I will be the next president. Thank you.
With all of President Trump's whistleblower tweets that he's put out over the weekend and the last week, Kamala Harris made
okay, because before you get to this is another thing about all the coverage. Newsflash to the newsflashers. Trump's going to fight back. It's like, oh my God, he's not going to be like Clinton and put his head down during impeachment and just do the thing. He's going to fight back to every. Did you just wake up yesterday? It's not news. Hey, if it's news, how come I can tell you that you're going to be shocked by what he tweets tomorrow? News means something out of the ordinary. And yet I'm telling you, CNN, you will be shocked by something he tweets tomorrow. Why? Because it's not news. Because that's Trump. That's how he acts in private, in public, online. It's not news. We understand it. This impeachment, this president is going to fight back in public and answer every charge against him, which is unlike any other president before him. And you can judge that as you want to judge it. But the idea that we're just going to be shocked that the president is going to go after the whistleblower, it's still Trump, right? The whistleblower is trying to take him down. Anybody tries to take down Trump, Trump fights back, right? This we know. Doesn't matter how you voted. Doesn't matter if you love him or you hate him. CNN is simply wrong when they tell you it's news that this president is going to fight back. It's not going to be like Clinton, where he just plays the presidential role and does everything behind the scenes. It's just not going to be that way. This president is not like that.
So this is Kamala Harris's latest plea.
His Twitter account should be suspended. I think there is plenty of now evidence to suggest that he is irresponsible with his words in a way that could result in harm to other people. And so the privilege of using those words in that way should probably be taken from him.
But demonizing anybody in the 1%, the top 1%, that's perfectly fine. When we point to people in society who we deem dangerous and we call that out, that's fine, because we decided a long time ago, when you get in that top 1%, you not only lose your soul, you lose your humanity. You're not even real. So we can treat you like a complete stereotype, say that you're the reason that everybody in this country who's suffering is suffering, and no consequences. So are you going to spread this around? Does everybody have to make sure that no one gets hurt or there's no potential harm in any of their words before they get on Twitter? Also, here's another thing. In the last couple of days, we've had two stories. The Biden campaign has written to every news outlet and said, you shouldn't be booking Rudy Giuliani. He tells lies. So therefore, you shouldn't provide a platform for his lies. And today, we're told that the president's main communication device to his base, Twitter, that should be taken away from him. Again, I don't care if you love him or hate him. I'm just telling you this is the way he operates. What the hell is going on with the left and the Democrat Party? Can't you just go out there and win an argument? Man, you should be glad that somebody disagrees with you and is going to challenge you, because that's going to make you better, right? Nothing strengthens iron like iron, right? You have to iron on iron is what makes you stronger. Why aren't you thinking that way, Democrat Party? You have a presidency to try to regain. Don't you think you ought to stop trying to knock people off? Get rid of people's First Amendment rights so that you can gain the Oval Office? Just do your homework. Meet them in the public sphere, debate them, and try to persuade more people to vote for you. I don't know. It's old-fashioned, but I guess I'm old-fashioned. All right, Yamamoto, let's see if we can squeeze another story in here.
California defied the NCAA, Eric, by becoming the first state to allow college athletes to sign endorsement deals.
Now, this is interesting, and I know Georgia and Alabama, a lot of SEC areas are going to say, "Oh, this is terrible. They get a free." It is true. Let's not forget. Not for nothing, you do get a free education at a pretty damn good school. The higher up you go, that you wouldn't otherwise have gotten through this. But it's also true that these college programs, Alabama, Georgia, everything in Division I is making a lot of money, and the players aren't getting compensated beyond that. Now, this says, hey, we're not telling schools they have to pay you outright, because that's been a different idea, like stipend kind of pay, which gets very difficult because do you pay the people on the swim team the same as the football team that's bringing 100,000 people into the stadium? This is just saying you own your likeness. So if the NCAA college video game,
EA Sports,
yeah, they've got to pay you if they're going to put your name on there. And then more importantly, endorsements for soft drinks or cars or whatever. Now, this is all going to go through the court system. NCAA doesn't like it. California, it's certainly true that you can't do something like this state by state with different laws. But if it goes through the court system and goes however high, I don't know if it'll go to the Supreme Court or not, however high it goes, and if it's deemed legal, then Georgia fans and Alabama fans and Gator fans and a whole bunch of people, Clemson fans, are not going to care about the morality. These laws will go into effect all over the country very quickly, because if you leave it out there for a couple of years that the best players in America can go to California and play, doesn't matter which school, can go to California and play and own their name and own their likeness and make money from it, the ability to hire agents in order to do this sort of thing, then guess what's going to happen? Boy, all of a sudden that Pac-12 is going to come roaring back, and the SEC is going to go down in talent. Now, Alabama's and Georgia's, they're still going to get their players because they're still seen as a way to get to the NFL. But if you can make millions of dollars in California, if you're a real high recruit, guess what's going to happen? California's going to be the place. So I look forward to the next few months of all this moralizing from Georgia fans and Alabama fans. But if it sticks in court, all that morality is going to go out the window in a flash. And every SEC state will have these laws within months. All right, before we get to mailbag, I believe mailbag is next.
Yes.
Before we get to mailbag, I'm seeing that there's some meme type of deal where I guess Greta Thunberg, our favorite miserable little girl, well, she's 16. She's a young lady who spoke to the UN and Basically, she rowed a boat, I believe, all the way across the ocean.
She did.
To come tell us that we are horrible people and we have stolen her childhood away from her. And boy, that message was really received by me with, well, I don't care. Sorry. You didn't ruin my day. How dare you? As she often says.
How dare you?
So I guess some heavy metal band that likes her mixed her UN talk with their heavy metal music, and now this is a viral. Let's hear it.
What's your message to world leaders today?
This is all wrong. I should be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean.
When do we get to her?
That is her.
That's her.
How dare you?
Oh, that's her.
Yeah.
Oh, they pitched her down. Now, they like her, right? They're not mocking her. They like her, I think. Do we know the band?
It's called Suaka.
Suaka. Do you know that band? Anybody?
Never heard of them.
All right,
I don't like this dog barking.
You're not
metal.
a big fan of the dog bark. What kind of metal do you like? What do you like?
I like old school rhythmic metal that has pop sensibilities.
Remember, now we say rhythmic metal. Back then it was like, it's just noise. Now there's noise. Oh, I go back to the old days of rhythmic metal.
Yeah, where's Metallica metal?
Where's that metal with a pop sensibility? There's competition out there, though, in the recording world. I don't know if you know this, but AOC has her own record company.
Get out!
It is behind Greta Thunberg.
Wait a minute, is this approved?
This is a.
Does this fall under the aegis of Demented Don and the Donuts?
No, I don't. This should probably not break into that contract. This is simply
equal time.
AOC Records is.
I get it. Okay.
They may have seen what Demented Don and the Donalds are doing and getting their message out with.
Well, ours is number one. I'll let you do your thing. But ours is the best selling. Best selling.
This is it's a perfect record. Yours.
Well, mine was perfect. I did it perfectly.
This is what AOC has a record company, and this is the Greta Thunberg thing is going to drop soon.
AOC Records presents Greta Thunberg sings all your favorite hits that remind you that kids are good and adults are just like evil.
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Instead of greeted, we get kicked. Instead of kisses, we get tricked. They've paved paradise, put up a parking lot. How dare you, country road? Take me home. Take me home. I shouldn't be here.
Whoa, don't you feel ashamed of yourself?
Heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Except for the adults who have already ruined it for everyone else.
Order this special collection in time to gift it to your Republican uncle for Thanksgiving. He'll definitely hate it.
I would go for that one over the heavy metal one. I think it just made a lot more sense to me.
I like that better. Yeah.
I can't understand the heavy metal music. Let's do this.
It's the Doctrine mailbag. We've got the open mics, Facebook messages, and emails we've collected from the week.
I know I sounded really old there, but if you would have caught up with me when I was 16, I don't get the heavy metal music.
I was the same way.
Yeah. Do you think that it was the
Horrible.
music? Like, I knew some musicians, heavy metal musicians, and strangely enough, they were some of the, as far as drugs go, some of the straightest people I ever met.
Really?
Like, they didn't get drunk, they didn't get high. It was
all their anger came out in the guitar.
I guess.
Yeah.
But my problem when I was a kid is I didn't like the crowd. It's one of the same reasons that I never got into punk rock. I didn't like the crowd. I never saw a reason that somebody should just walk up to me and punch me. I never got that.
Oh, that's so awesome, though.
I just never got. I spent a night with a punk rocker. Was part of a bigger group. Everybody got drunk. This guy was spitting at people, punching. This is 1980. I just say, you know what? I still like the Beatles. The same thing with heavy metal. I'm sure that there's stuff about heavy metal. I love guitars and bass and drums. I'm sure there's some stuff that I would like. But when I was a kid, I didn't like the audience. So I didn't like going to shows for heavy metal shows or punk shows. And I think as part of it, I missed a lot. I don't know a lot about punk music. I really don't. Yeah.
When I first saw Metallica in the late 80s, I'd never been to a show like that in my life, and I saw how violent it was. I got scared and just sat in my seat.
Yeah,
I never moved.
You
I
don't
just
even
sat
want to
there.
expose
Nope.
yourself. And I'm certainly, when it comes to punk and stuff like that, as a 16-year-old, I wasn't a guy who's going to jump down into a mosh pit.
No.
I was reckless and stupid at the time, but I did not see the point.
No one
I
gets
guess
beat
I
up at
wasn't-
James Taylor.
I wasn't that miserable. Yeah, they fall asleep.
Yeah.
BYOP.
That's my foie gras.
But see, after the show, though, metalheads are always so nice. They give you a
Yeah,
hug.
that is
they're always,
true.
they're always like, "Oh my gosh, you were in there. You were moshing your little heart out."
That's
I'm
what I
like,
mean.
Wow.
No.
Your little heart out.
Your little heart. No, I mean they are. No, they're actually nice people. But once the music started,
Oh yeah.
now we're all older. But when I was a kid, once the music started, I imagine a Metallica show today is pretty safe.
Well, if they can get the guy out of rehab.
Bunch of retired accountants. Yeah, the Metallica had to
James
cancel a
Hetfield.
tour.
Yeah.
He's back in rehab.
Yes.
I thought they did a whole documentary in the 90s about how he beat drugs or something. That was the therapy amongst the group.
Yes.
That Saint Anger or whatever it was. Therapy amongst the group. And now he needs therapy because he's drinking too much? Or
Drinking.
Probably. At his
Yeah.
age, it's usually drinking.
Yeah.
If it was drugs, he would have been dead when he was 40. You get to his age, and there's rehab, it's usually drinking at that point. Well, which means alcohol kills you slower than heroin.
Just takes a while.
This we know. They'll both kill you eventually.
Pay attention, Jared.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jared's he doesn't know what to do because you got the Braves Thursday. And his plan is to get drunk. So he's going to get to the battery by 2:30.
That's what Braves country would want.
If you don't booze, then you lose.
I like it. He said, that's what Braves country would want. Eric, it's not for me. I'm doing it for Braves country. He puts himself out there as the selfless hero, willing to get drunk for Braves country. But then he's going to turn around on Friday after the show, and they're going to go to Tennessee to watch the
Dogs take on
the Vols, and that's going to be nothing but another drunken party because
Drinking the whole way up.
his girlfriend.
That game's at 7:00 on Saturday
Yeah.
too. I am going to die.
How many
Saturday.
times do you think you vomit before or after the game? Once before, once after.
I think I'm more of a puke and rally kind of guy, so probably before the game.
So take the under in that game. That's what you say. All right. What do we have in mail?
We have a ton of open mics and a lot of messages from Facebook. A lot of people are being critical, Eric, so just be ready. So.
I can handle criticism. What are you saying?
All right, well, just be ready.
Are
Here
you
they
being
come.
critical of my ability to handle criticism? Because I won't have it, sir. I will not have it. Will not.
How dare you?
Slightly critical. Now, this gentleman wants to weigh in on California allowing athletes to sign endorsement deals. He has his opinion about it.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right.
But if you go to college on a free ride to play sports, aren't you getting paid to play? Just don't get it.
What I don't get is why is it so important to you that they not get paid? This is like these fans. Oh, we're going to lose the amateurism. Not really, the amateurism. What's Nick Saban making over there? Can Nick Saban do it without the players? Now, Nick Saban's a genius. Kirby Smart's probably making $5 or $6 million. These coaches are great head coaches. They deserve every penny they get. But I don't care how good Nick Saban and Kirby Smart were. If they had me playing quarterback, they would lose every game. So that's the lower end of the scale. Now you go to the higher end of the scale and everything in between. And players matter. Players matter. Also, I was thinking about that. If you go to college on a math scholarship, guess what? You were going to get into a decent college anyway, right? You were going to get into a decent college anyway. A lot of people who go to college and good colleges on scholarships, athletes, are not people who would otherwise have gotten into college, which means the college life may or not is more likely to not fit them. But I don't mean that more likely than not for every athlete. What I mean is, as opposed to people who get math scholarships and scholarships that are academic in nature, when you get sports scholarships, especially football and basketball, which colleges are the doorways to the pros.
Yes.
So you're going to be part of that. You're the doorway to the pros. Stop acting like you're not. If most of these guys could sign up somewhere and get paid without going to college, they would do it. You think that's wrong? Well, I'll tell you, you probably would have as well. Whatever you do for a living that's going well now, if when you were 18, someone offered you a job at a great 6-figure salary and said, just come here, you're already smart, we'll teach you the rest of the things you need to know, you'd probably skip college. Some people would say, well, I need to have that experience. And you would lose 4 years of money. That's up to you. But these are 18-year-olds. They're adults. They have a particular set of skills. And a lot of them could get hurt 2 years in, never see the pros, and would never have been somebody who fit into the college world at all anyway. Let's not fool ourselves. An awful lot of people, and we're talking about football and basketball especially, a lot of the other sports, you would maybe have gone to college anyway. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure on a sporting scholarship, an awful lot of people got a chance that they never got before, but they probably weren't the greatest on their football or basketball teams. They were probably people who didn't go on to the pros, and while they were in college on a scholarship, thought, I better get something here because I ain't going to the pros. If you go into that system believing you're going to be in the pros because you're that good, then why should the college be able to make money off of you if you can't make money? Do you really think it's the same? The one scholarship, one person being put through 4 years of college, and the number of seats, the number of butts they put in seats on Saturdays, the revenue from every refreshment that is sold, all the parking, these full stadiums. You think that compensates the one scholarship, the free education that many will not even take advantage of? That's the real world. And for you to sit back as a fan and go, well, that's their problem. They didn't take advantage of it. Well, who needs whom? Who is it that needs you? Do you need that player more for your team to go for a national championship? Or do they need you to feel good about them, that they're getting a free education? Look, in the marketplace of ideas, you find out what's working with people vote with their feet. So let's see. If you're that moral in the SEC, then sit back and let California do this, and let's see where the best athletes go. If the best athletes go there, whether you like it or not, in the marketplace of ideas, they're voting with their feet. And things are always better when they're more lined up with reality, whether that reality is comfortable to you, whether it bucks traditions that are important to you. You know, just liking something just because it's traditional, that's not enough. Doesn't hold up in a court of law, doesn't hold up in a debate. We need to keep doing it this way because we've always done it this way. It's never a really good argument.
The Von Haessler Doctrine.
They've got such good chemistry.
Making listeners laugh every day.
It's priceless.
9 to noon on 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Is this the rhythmic metal you say you like?
I like this better than whatever that other stuff was.
Hey, let the kids get it out any way they get it out. What do you have for me here in mailbag?
Steve.
Seems like it's all open mics. No?
Well, this one is from our super secret Facebook page.
Well, this one's from...
This is from 2 + = 4, which is our super secret Facebook page.
So secret, you just mentioned it on the air.
So secret. Where Steve writes, he says, EVH, the Impossible Burger from Burger King, is amazing. It tastes exactly like a real burger. How dare
Said
you?
no one ever.
How are you going to sit there on your high horse and say, I've never tried it, and at the same time claim it tastes terrible? Your claims on this subject are preposterous. How dare you?
Ooh, wow.
How dare you?
He's pulling a Greta. I don't know which one. She has 2.
How dare you?
And then she has...
How dare you?
I'll give him both.
I've tried it. It's awful.
I'm talking, yeah, exactly. I can only tell you, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. There's no reason for me to try Impossible Burgers. I have burgers. They're very possible, and they're very easy to obtain.
Possible burger.
But talking to my friends who are vegetarians, one of them, the host of another show in this building, and he said, no, they're terrible. I put up with them, he says, but they're terrible. Also, if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, why do you want to eat burgers? Isn't part of that you sworn it off? So the idea is to get people who, this is all part of the climate change stuff. They're going to try to convince people we need to eat less burgers so we have less cows farting so that the Obamas don't get flooded in that new beachside home they just paid for. Look at that, hour 3. Life is just flashing by, people. Hour 3. Of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. A story earlier, I think, when did we do this? We did this with Dr. Joe about the Wall Street Journal. Does getting stoned help you get toned? Gym rats embrace marijuana, which I just find amazing that you can get high and work out and not drop weights on your feet or something. It starts out with a It's a bio of this lady, Pauline Nordine. And apparently she makes her own marijuana cookies. And she has guns. And so her whole thing is working out and marijuana. And the first line of the story, Pauline Nordine is a trainer, model, and licensed nutritionist. Wow, it's 2019. Those people didn't exist at other times. A trainer, in other words, so if I say she's a trainer, model, and licensed nutritionist, remember the Von Haessler Doctrine is here to help you cut through all the clutter. So if I say that Pauline Nordine is a trainer, model, and licensed nutritionist, of course what you know then is she's a social media influencer. Let's do this.
Even more headlines for Tuesday, October 1st.
What kind of nutritionist makes cookies for you before you work out?
Yeah, well, these are cookies that help you work out longer and stay focused in your workout so you end up healthier because of the cannabis, apparently.
And they're gluten-free.
Oh, well, of course.
That doesn't make sense.
I should hope that they're gluten-free. Well, a lot of the world doesn't make sense, Autumn. That's why we do this show. If the whole world made sense and everything was like, oh, yeah, okay, I can see that, there'd be no need to comment on anything.
No. Well, that's why I'm commenting on it.
What do you got for me there, Jared Yamamoto?
Director Tyler Perry said that he cannot just up and leave filming here in Georgia, despite all of Hollywood's backlash against the state's heartbeat abortion law.
Yeah, I have to say, he says he's against it, but his roots are too deep. He's just paid all this money,
$250 million for that new studio by Fort McPherson.
Yeah, he's about to have a grand opening. I suppose they've been doing stuff there, but he's going to have a big grand opening very soon, a big reveal. And he says he's against it. He says he doesn't think any man should tell women what to do. But I'm surprised by a lot of this. So even if he wanted to leave, it'd be very difficult for him to leave. His roots are just too strong. I thought from the very beginning that this law would never go into effect. When does it go into effect? In January sometime?
I believe it's January 1st.
And I'm trying to look up things. I expected that the courts would have bottled things up, at least to the point where we're told, now am I wrong? Did I miss this story? Usually at this point we're told, well, you can't put that into effect until it goes up the chain and we decide whether or not it's lawful. Is it really, I'm asking, we have an hour left. If all things stayed exactly as they are now, would the heartbeat law go into effect in January, or is there some sort of restraint on it until it works its way through the courts? Because the courts, on this story, it's been a lot more silent than I thought. I know immediately the usual suspects, ACLU, all the people begin to take you to court, but I don't know if there's a moratorium on the thing or not. I'm just being honest with you. I can't follow every damn story down to its roots.
So the first state that passed a heartbeat bill was North Dakota back in 2013, and it was immediately struck down by the Supreme Court. So I think your logic train is right.
Supreme Court of North Carolina or the Supreme Court of the United States?
This was North Dakota, and it was the Supreme Court of the United States that struck it down. That said Roe v. Wade.
But remember, when they wrote this law, they already had that. So you can write around what the Supreme Court has already said. I'm just it seems like a lot less activity on that front than I've expected, but I have to admit I haven't been following it all that close. I would be surprised still if that law actually goes into effect in January. I'm not saying it will never go into effect, but I would be very surprised if it goes into effect in January because it obviously has not worked itself back into a new case that the court is going to take up. Now, when does the court goes back next week?
It says on Monday.
Yeah, first Monday in October.
Yeah.
So I think we already know what cases they have, and I don't know if they've picked this one. I'm being honest. I don't know. So somebody needs to.
The latest battle over Georgia's newly passed abortion laws open Monday.
Okay, so they are going to see a case about it. All right, then my guess is that it will never go into effect, or at least will not go into effect in January. I'm still sticking to that. And I think Tyler Perry probably knows that already. And also, I don't believe that all these Hollywood actors are going to say no to movies and scripts. I don't believe that at all.
If Tyler Perry has sunk $250,000 into Georgia, I mean, I'm sure that Pinewood Studios down in Fayette County has spent more than that.
$250 million, I think you meant to say. $250 million.
Oh,
right?
yes, $250 million. Excuse me. I mean, that's a lot of money that these folks are spending here in the state.
Yeah, they're going to stay here.
And go somewhere else.
My point is that if you're not one of these hair-on-fire reactionaries, you recognize that it's still a long shot that law is going to go into effect in Georgia. I'm not trying to. I know people listen to this show. Well, I'm not saying anything about for or against. This show is different. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen, and I would be very surprised if that goes into effect in January. Very surprised. Next story.
San Francisco removed about 24 small boulders from a residential side street after a group of neighbors had them installed in an effort to stop homeless people from camping out on the sidewalk.
San Francisco doesn't do anything about the homelessness, so the business people who don't want tense homeless cities in front of them, they just went out and got a bunch of large boulders so that it would be very difficult to put up a tent and sit there and squat.
They put them in alleys and in little...
well, they also put them right in front of their stores.
Yeah.
Because what's been happening is these tents go up on the edge of the sidewalk, and it's right in front of your business. And it turns out that people don't want to take a leisurely walk down Skid Row and stop for some wine and or coffee. Right, exactly. I love this. San Francisco, no, you can't do this. Well, I own a business. I pay taxes. I'm kind of wondering what the people who run the city are going to do about this. We got to remove these boulders. Homeless people need a place to sleep.
Little do they know I used to be a mountain climber.
That's right. I'll sleep right on top of that boulder.
I have no problem.
San Francisco.
This is exactly,
Tim,
I think San Francisco is bad, but I think Los Angeles is worse right now. And Los Angeles have 50 square blocks of, and Los Angeles is on a proper grid. So 50 square blocks of homeless village.
And down by the beaches, too, I think there's a lot of tent cities down there.
Wow, that's getting in the way of the hippies. That's not good.
It's not.
Hey, can y'all stop those drums? I'm trying to sleep over here.
Yes? Yeah, man, but we got to get these drums playing all night long, bro.
I'm trying to get some sleep up over here.
Oh, well, come join us.
Yeah, LA gave up a long time ago. They started not... they would put the barbed wire on top of the green signs above the interstate and stuff because people were tagging things up there. I mean,
and they're like, no. This place belongs to gangs and the homeless, and also super duper rich entertainment industry people. I can't quite figure it out. Have you noticed that the most income inequality is in places that are run by the left? I don't think you can find more income inequality anywhere in the country or the world than Los Angeles, where you have Tom Hanks and the 50 blocks of homeless squatters. And it's really quite amazing. I mean, Texas is run by Republicans, right?
Yes.
Georgia is run by Republicans. California is run by Democrats. New York State is run by Democrats. Illinois is run by Democrats. All leftists. And the income inequality and all of the problems to poor people that the left is constantly talking about get exacerbated and are worse when they're running things. You'd think that they'd look in the mirror, and if they really care about stuff like this, they would say, okay, we need new policies. The things we thought were going to work didn't work. I never hear that. I mean, I suppose it's still, the rich top 1% is their fault somehow?
Of course.
It has nothing to... When it comes to homelessness, government policy apparently has nothing to do with it. It's just the fact that there are some really rich people out there. But that income inequality is right there in Los Angeles. You can't have more of it than in Los Angeles, and there's not a more liberal town in the country besides San Francisco, which is second to Los Angeles in all these problems.
I don't understand why the city would do that to their businesses, because that's how they have a tax revenue, that's how they have a base, that's how they have people who are employed.
You're speaking reasonably.
Yeah, but I don't understand
why. Because I can go tell people some rhetoric and get elected. Politicians want power. They have to ask you for the power. People have forgotten that they hold the keys. I don't know why, but they have to come. Once they get the power, they can pretty much do an awful lot of things they want to do they didn't tell you about. But they have to stop down every once in a while and come ask you for the keys to power. And so whatever rhetoric they're using against the top 1% and what Republicans want to do is working and gets them elected. That's what they care about. That's what Republicans care about as well. Politicians want more power. They have to go through this process of asking you for the keys to power. But what they really want is the power. That's getting elected. They're going to say what they need to say to get elected. They're not going to come in and tell you something you don't want to hear. There's nobody from Donald Trump to anybody else who runs for president this year who is going to hardly ever mention that we're $22 trillion in debt, because then they can't promise you things that you will then go vote for them. So they're not really interested in the debt or solving a whole lot of problems. Politicians want a little bit more power, and unfortunately for them, every once in a while they got to grovel to you because you have the keys. They need permission for that power. Well, how do you get that power? Not by actually telling people how you're going to solve problems, telling them what they want to hear, so they will give you the keys to the power that you want, so you can then go and abuse it. Now, there's a spectrum there. Abuse might be getting the best table at a restaurant, or it might be a whole hell of a lot worse.
But Eric, if we just give more money to the San Francisco city government,
that's the problem.
That's what it is, and more government programs to help the homeless,
that's
so that way
problem.
they can find homes while
because
they're there.
We're cruel in this country. We're so cruel in this country that nobody seems to know that we spent $22 trillion since 1950 on the war on poverty. All these programs. Today, the percentage of poverty in the country is just about the same as it was. I think it's more than 50 years, 55, whenever Johnson declared the war on poverty. Whenever that started, we spent $22 trillion. But apparently we're cold and we're heartless. Can you imagine that? If people knew all the facts, could imagine that if people knew all the facts. You could say Americans did it wrong, but you can't look at $22 trillion of taxpayer money being spent to try to make it go away and say those people are cold, unfeeling, greedy, and don't care. But then again, if I point that out, I'm probably not going to get elected. And getting elected is what it's all about. What I'm saying is it's the best thing I ever tasted in my life. And I'll never taste it again. The machaca burrito with cheese sauce on top. Poco Bandito. Rochester, New York in the 80s and 90s. Some guy, I worked there. They got this guy, we opened the restaurant. And they got this guy from California, bought these Mexican restaurants called California-style Mexican food. And I lived in L.A. for 3 years, and I never tasted anything as good. And this restaurant just went out of business in the 90s, and I'll never taste this again. This was an unbelievable flavor combination in your mouth that will never be matched again. No one else has it, apparently. And I'm thinking about
better
it.
than Tex-Mex.
I forgot my fitness my Fitbit.
Oh no! You have to count them
fitness
manually.
Tracker. Now I figure at this point I kind of know, don't I? I have a routine that gets me to 10,000. So. But now
I know
suddenly
too.
I'm thinking about foods I haven't been able to eat since the 90s. Right. You got a story for me?
Yeah, you ever heard of catfishing before, Eric?
I know what catfishing is. I don't quite understand it. Got that Notre Dame player in trouble. So a girl represents herself as something she's not.
Yes.
Or a guy.
Right? Or a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get you to become what?
You become like an online boyfriend or girlfriend, and you become in a relationship online, but then you find out that it's not a real person, or it's not the person they say they are.
First of all, if you're the type of person that will tell someone you're in a relationship when you haven't actually met the person in real life, I think you kind of deserve whatever's coming. That music says we can't get to the rest of the story, but Clive Cliverson, my rating guru / consultant, says, Eric, you got to get better with the teases. So how's this, Clive? We'll finish that story about catfishing when we return.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. You were telling me, this is Driving and Crying off the new album. Fantastic stuff. You were telling me about a story, a catfishing story that's in the news.
Yeah, it's related to catfishing. It's this new...
I can't find my cough button. Excuse me. All right, that'll do it.
It's a disturbing new dating trend, and we can't even say it without using one of these. So I'm going to call it junk fishing. How about that?
So it's the C word, but it's not the female C word. It's the male C word, often followed by a doodle doo.
Yes, South Carolina's mascot.
Yes. So it's sea fishing, male sea fishing, but not sea like you're on the sea. Oh, I've had enough explanation. Yes.
And what happens is much like catfishing, where somebody lies and disguises their identity.
In this one, they try to make the manhood appear to be more
pronounced.
More
pronounced than
larger,
it normally
we could
is.
say.
Which
because of the wide-angle lenses that are available.
Yeah,
that new iPhone.
That new iPhone. The sea fishing is going to go right through the roof.
Yeah, deep sea fishing.
Somebody tunes in right now. They were like, why are they talking about people have been fishing on the sea for years? How's that news?
Old man in the sea.
What's happening to WSB? Yes, old man and his out-of-proportion sea.
So my question, though, is for somebody that thinks they need to elongate themselves.
First of all, don't ask me because I'm not somebody who would ever need this technology.
Eric is blessed.
However, there are others amongst us. I'm looking at you, Tim Andrews.
Why not go?
I don't care.
Are you saying he's not big boned?
I'm married.
He's married. He's already taken care of. He's already caught his fish.
Yeah.
Why not go on the internet and find another one and send that one out instead
Easy
of
to disprove.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't this be easy to disprove? I mean,
Not until you meet them.
Well, it depends on how much the lady has been around. If you send somebody else's, she might like, I've been with that person.
Yeah.
That's not you.
That's Brad Pitt.
They say it's easy to figure this out because it says in this story, blurred edges or distorted lines or backgrounds will expose one of these a mile off. So be on the lookout for those Photoshop fails. I thought women...
But I don't know. Women are not...
they're not really into that, supposedly.
Women are not basing their decision on
supposedly. This is what we hear.
Just the good one.
But my wife tells me that when women get together, they're actually dirtier than men.
Oh, they're filthy.
So I'm not so
That's
sure.
not the same thing. That's that's fun. That's fun to talk about. You get a couple of white wines in you, and then your lips start flapping about your guys, whatever. But in choosing a mate or choosing someone that you want to fall in love or whatever, it's not about that.
First of all, these are like hookup things,
Okay.
right? I mean, nobody needs to. Hey, I'm looking for a wife. Here I am. I mean,
hey, you want to spend the rest of your life with this?
Hell yeah.
I think it's kind of sad that men are doing this, but
junk fishing.
Be happy with what you got
The whole
there.
generation's messed up.
Why doesn't everybody just disbelieve everything they see online? Shouldn't that be the first default thing? Is I don't believe this until I get 3 other sources.
Yes.
So
well, maybe the young lady lives in a big city and she doesn't get a chance to go out and hang out with other people. So
I think I'll send her a picture.
Yeah, the young
Here
lady.
you are, young lady.
Yeah, young lady. How do you feel about this? It's really me.
Wow, look at it.
It's really me.
It looks gross. Just like the last one I got from some other person.
If
Gross.
this thing hit the Earth from outer space, it will wipe out humanity as we know it.
It's like the tungsten dart you
Yes,
drop from space.
So I see at the end of this article, though, apropos to nothing really, it says earlier this week the term fireworking was coined for another dating trend. You know what fireworking is? Fireworking, apparently, according to Grazia, a person is fireworked when someone goes out with them in order to put on a big display, like a firework display. So the date might be in order to make an old flame feel jealous or just to make them feel good about themselves. This is from the Mirror.
We needed
That's
a word for that.
fireworking.
We needed a word for that for a while.
Well, now you have it, fireworking.
Thank goodness.
So that you can then show the fireworks
Let's take a
online.
picture of us making out, and I'll send it to my ex-boyfriend.
And then we're done.
Can't tonight. I'm going clamming.
Are you sure those are real clams? There's some clam
I got a
fishing
picture.
some clam fishing going on out there.
Clam fishing.
All you need is a pail and a shovel.
It seems so dirty, and yet we can say it on the radio. I got to say, FCC, you're falling down on the job. This is a verbal arms race.
I'm going out shucking tonight.
Hey, now. Don't let Autumn lead the parade.
No.
We'll lose our permit and quick.
Come on.
Yeah.
You've been on me all day.
Yeah. No. Hey. There was a joke I could have made there, but I didn't because it's 2019, and I care about people, especially women. Not like you, Jared. I think they all should get paid as much as you. Not as much as me, but they should all get paid as much as you.
They wouldn't get paid. They wouldn't get paid very much. Then.
I'm getting to enlightenment. I don't want everybody paid as much as me, but everybody should be paid as much as Tim Andrews.
Hey, baby steps, right?
Yeah, baby steps, right? I'm coming around to enlightenment.
Why does it have to be a baby?
Yeah. What? Coming up with a brand new grievance we've never heard of before. Adult shaming.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got next?
I have some sad news, guys.
Really sad news? Or
sad news.
Millennial comical sad news?
I am devastated by this. The Pokemon-themed pop-up bar that was planned for Midtown is officially canceled.
That wouldn't be sad news because usually I would react.
No.
I would react.
No, Pikachu.
Wouldn't I react to sad news? This guy was really upset about this.
I was. The Mardi Gras theme bar was pretty good that they did last year.
Will you stop it? Can I tell you?
Even the Section of the City theme.
Stop. Go back to the old-fashioned way. Find yourself a main bar or pub that you
I want
like.
a coal miners theme bar.
Get rid of the themes and the pop-ups. It used to be
blood.
If you knew a guy, you knew where he was, right?
Yeah.
If you knew a guy, so, Charlie? Oh yeah, he's down at Phil's.
Yeah.
Phil?
Getting drunk.
Phil? He's down at Charlie's.
Yeah, Phil and Charlie swap bars.
Yeah, it's like you just have to find a place where Jared? Oh, he's at whatever. You don't they're drinks with alcohol. They all do the same thing to you. It doesn't matter what's hanging on the walls. What matters are the people that are around you.
But it makes
and
it
I'm
fun.
sure these pop-up bars probably have the best prices in town.
A Pokemon bar where everyone's looking at their phone or walking into each other because they're trying to catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, you go in there and you just embrace it because my generation grew up with Pokemon. We were so used to it. So it would have Pikachu.
Yeah,
my generation grew up with the Cold War. I'm not looking forward.
Let's have a Cold War one where everyone's nervous.
Welcome to Kalishnikovs.
I don't know why you have to have a bar that represents everything you're nostalgic about. You're grown up, damn it.
Let's have an AOL.
By the way, did you know
where it takes a really long time to get in? You have to listen to that weird.
G.I. Joe bar. How you doing,
Sure.
Joe?
Did you notice this reminds me of something that's not really been reported on much? But
Grandma.
remember when
junk fishing?
No. Pokemon is still pretty. It's not nearly as popular, that Pokemon Go thing where everybody's running into each other in the middle of traffic, but it's still going on. It's still quite popular. People still get together. I guarantee you, Autumn's nerdy astronaut husband still does the Pokemon Go. Am I right?
Yes,
So
he does.
people who are in it are still in it.
A Bulbasaur.
But the Harry Potter thing that came out a couple months ago, do you remember?
Yeah.
Was kind of the same thing. It was supposed to displace it. Turned out it was a pretty crappy game, and it's been dropped by an awful lot of people. And this is my way of saying don't look for the Harry Potter Go pop-up bar anytime soon. Nobody really reported on it. It was a big deal. Remember when it came out?
Yeah.
Because it was going to take over the whole Pokemon Go landscape. But you know what? The game itself still has to be good. And I don't play these games, but whatever's going on, the Pokemon Go one obviously was more user-friendly, easier to play, more fun.
Well, because you still felt like a Pokemon trainer while you're out there, throwing your virtual Pokeballs.
But you didn't feel like a wizard when you were out there with the Harry Potter thing?
I did not feel like a wizard while I was out there.
You're a
Just didn't
loser, Harry.
I just don't understand this thing with millennials. Where I like going to theme bars. I hate theme restaurants.
Yeah,
I think when you're at a restaurant and you're supposed to be on some pirate ship and the waiter comes up to you.
Aren't you going to want another iced tea?
No, I'm Eric. You're Fred. Give me a beer. Shut up.
What kind of beer would you like,
I
sir?
want the Pilsner, please.
But it's only there for a month, so that way you could avoid it if you want.
Because then it's like an experience.
All right, Jared, not much time left in this radio portion of the show, so give me a story.
We didn't answer why that Pokemon bar was being removed, and it's because they didn't secure the rights from Nintendo to
smart.
operate.
Oh, okay. Usually you do that first.
Yeah, you think
Before
so.
you tell people you're going to open a pop-up Pokemon bar, you'd secure the rights to that universally famous name, you would think. But, all right.
So now this next story, I've got actor Mark Hamill called Ivanka Trump a fraud for a Star Wars photo.
Okay, Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker.
That's right.
In case you were born yesterday, I feel like I have to let people know that. So this is absurd. Really. Mark Hamill, you know what? You're a D-bag. We get that you don't like Trump. You don't like his family. What he's responding to on Twitter is they're about to go out or something. They're all dressed up. They're two kids. They have three kids, I guess. Two of them are at a table playing like a Lego Star Wars set. The other one is fully dressed, cute as can be.
As a stormtrooper.
Must be 3 or 4. As a stormtrooper. And that's all she just puts it up there and says, the force is strong here. And then Mark Hamill. So what are you doing, Mark Hamill? You're basically going after the kids. Mom and Dad, Mark Hamill, I don't know if you didn't look at the picture. Mom and Dad, the ones you hate so much, they're not wearing any Star Wars costuming and they're not playing with any. The only people in this picture that are Star Wars fans look to be, 8 years old or younger. And Mark Hamill, what did he say when he wrote in response? You misspelled fraud and hashtag go force yourself. It doesn't matter what you think, Mark Hamill. Go force yourself. You're a fraud? You're saying it to the children. They're the only people in the picture showing any interest in Star Wars.
Yeah, but he got a lot of likes and retweets.
Well, which makes him correct.
Yeah.
By the way, Mark Hamill, I'll tell you something you don't know. You're not even a good expert on Star Wars. I get so annoyed. You know, the people on Will and Grace. We're experts at gay rights. No, you're actors in a show where some of the people are gay. You're an actor who took a role. That's it. And you did it well. Good on you. It doesn't make you an expert. Alan Alda in the 70s started to believe that he was an expert on War and Peace because he was in MASH. No, you're an actor who accepted a role, did a good job, and it lasted a long time. Mark Hamill, you are nowhere near the most important expert on all things Star Wars. You're an actor who accepted a part. You don't own Star Wars lore or canon or anything. Let me reiterate if I haven't said it enough. You're an actor who accepted a part. And then bing, bang, wow, it turned out to be huge. Had it come out and bombed and we never heard, and there was never a sequel or anything, then we wouldn't be listening to what you have to say about a president and his family in 2019. Relax, Mark Hamill. You're a good actor. There's a lot of good actors who didn't end up in a franchise like you did. You're not a great actor. You're a good actor. Some would say serviceable.
I mean, basically, name any other movie he was in besides those two that you know, other than Star
Corvette
Wars.
Summer?
Yeah, and The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, I think he's still bitter about how his character was written off in the last one.
Listen, he was right about that, and it's an area where he can grumble because it's his character that he's talking about. But the idea that Mark Hamill has to approve your politics before he will bless your children to play with Star Wars toys is absurd. Pull it back a little bit, Mark Hamill. You're an actor who accepted a role. All right, next.
20% of adults think their partner is bad with money, Eric. This is a survey from Policy Genius.
Isn't that funny he says adults? OLTS.
Adults.
My youngest son speaks like this. I don't know what it is.
So does Greg.
It's
We
like
don't hear it very often,
Yeah.
but I made fun of him on our show the other day about it.
What show is that? One Topic?
One Topic. Download it today.
I got to throw in that Tim has Radio Labyrinth and Jared has the Power Pod.
Thank you.
We
And
call
you can
ours
get-
10,000 Topics.
And you can you can get all of these at all the places that you get your podcast from. But yeah, it's a weird California-ism.
Adult.
My youngest was born in California, but he was here by the time he was 9 or 10 months old. So none of that came. But adult, it's a weird kind of.
Sometimes adults like to do what adults do, and it's just that's how it is.
You know what it is? I'm just so sophisticated. You know, I was.
Is that it?
I don't have an accent.
Is that how you think about California?
Yeah.
Sophistication?
Yes.
All that homelessness? And
Yes.
people like Mark Hamill yelling at you if you don't vote properly. You can't see my movie or enjoy it or celebrate it. And neither can your kids. Because I said so. Let's see. 20% say they believe their partner is financially irresponsible. That's probably pretty good because there's at least 40% of us in the world, in the country, are financially irresponsible. It leads to breakups, certainly. Most arguments between boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses.
Hands down.
Financial, not sex. Many people think it's about sex. It's not. Men just clam up and start paying for whores.
You spent too much money on your whores.
Oh, there you go. Now we're combining the two, sex and finances.
The last one said you didn't even do anything with it. You just talked to her.
I like this. I like that. Well, I wanted the girlfriend experience. I got people. That is the secrets. 12% say they have a secret credit card. That's something.
Whoa, I love
That's
that.
something. 12% say they've kept a purchase secret from the partner in the past 6 months. Probably the men and porn.
Probably
That was-
Christmas.
Or
No,
porn.
I've done that.
Porn was purchased. If it's men, it's probably
Purchased.
porn. Purchased some porn. And now here's, okay, this is really bad. 9% say they have a secret retirement account. For better or worse? What's that secret retirement account all about, buddy? This is it. Guys think, I'm going to leave her behind. Yeah, all the kids are out, empty nester. You know what's going to happen? You'll have a stroke or be diagnosed with cancer within 6 months, and all you've done is got yourself a one-way ticket to dying alone. All right, we got to go over and do the Podcast 30 now. How do people join us?
2 places, Eric. The Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. There's a little red box on both of those Facebook pages. Just click it, and you can watch us in the studio do the Podcast 30.
Do the Podcast 30. We're going to come back and do another wild radio show. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What's the pop culture podcast that features 3 aging Gen Xers and 1 dirty Zennial? It's Radio Labyrinth, hosted by Tim Andrews, Jeff Lieboff, Stephanie Swain, and Autumn Fisher. Movies, TV, podcasts, comic books, music, and a labyrinth of tales about ourselves. You'll enjoy comedy, improv, impersonations, and recommendations for the coolest stuff you can watch, listen, or read. Check out Radio Labyrinth on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you catch your podcasts. Check us out at RadioLabyrinthPodcast.com.
Uh-oh, the cops are coming. Yeah, I know what you mean. When you just put together this piece of crap and you're going to make a bunch of money off it. God bless you. Tim Andrews is here. J-Rad, rocking what he calls tunes.
A little boom baps here.
Who cares? Woo! Is that Ruth Buzzy in there? Autumn Fisher is here. We will be joined by English Nick and Tad from B98 point whatever. But I guess everybody decides they can just come in whenever they want.
Ha ha ha, busy.
What do you think of that as we went off the air? I find that to be interesting. You know, when you get married, you say for better or worse. They also say obey, which I think is some old language.
They don't say that anymore.
Do they knock that out of there?
Yeah, it's gone.
I got married, 22 years
Love and
ago.
honor.
Love and honor. So, but the for better or worse, till death do you part. I mean, people just say yes to that. I don't think they really read the fine. There's no fine print, but you got to really think about it, But people get married when they're young, and they think things are going to stay exactly the same. They don't know that we're all going to see different people in the mirror, and then the people we got married to, they're going to see different people too, and you got sickness that comes along,
farting,
you got farting, all kinds of things in that nature. You've got the kids grow up and leave the house, and then all of a sudden it's a new start. Like, when my kids left the house, I'm thinking, I think my wife and I have already talked about everything there is to talk about under the sun. I don't know if there's a new thing. Unless I want to sit here and listen to her bitch about somebody that she didn't like at work.
Do you have that dawning moment when you're walking through the hallway and the kid's gone and I got to talk to her now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not quite that cynical because I'm a showman, so I do prep.
Oh, okay.
I got to be prepared to talk to my wife now when my kids are out of the house. So I'm a doer, not a complainer. So, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing where you go, hey, we're going to stay together till the end because the grass always seems greener all the way along the line. But when I see 12% in relationships saying they have a secret credit card, whoa, why do you have a secret credit card? That says to me, hookers and drugs.
You know what it says to me is controlling. That there's someone, that one of the people in their life is too controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a good marriage right there, though,
exactly,
when you can't be honest
not.
with each other.
Right.
I'm
not saying it's always something nefarious. It could just be something like, hey, I want to spend my money the way I want to spend it. And if I want to buy a $240 thing of serum, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Okay, but won't I notice it and go, isn't this $240? How did we afford it? Then you have to say, well, it was gifted to me. And
no,
then the lies.
Men don't know how much that face care stuff
And you're
costs.
saying what you're saying because you're a woman. So I guess I'm saying what I'm saying because I know men.
Mm-hmm.
And the out of the 12% of the men who have a secret credit card, I don't think it's stuff like that.
No.
I think it's probably something, you're doing something and you don't want your wife to know that you're doing it.
Men are worse than women. That's what you're saying.
In that respect, men are dogs. I mean, we all have
men are rats. They're fleas on rats.
If we can agree that there is a difference between men and women, then there are positives and negatives to both of those differences. Men, we built the entire world.
Yeah, because you set yourselves up for it.
You didn't build that.
Well, yeah, we kind of built the entire world.
That's true. You do talk about you shouldn't have pride in where you come from or whatever, so you shouldn't be proud.
I'm not proud of it. I'm just stating the fact.
Yeah,
that,
but you're inferring, or I'm inferring, you're implying that
pyramids.
Okay.
Who put that together?
Slaves.
Okay, but who?
In your face.
No, that's like saying. So you're telling me the Empire State Building comes out of the minds of the workers that built it? No, who planned and created, decided that there was going to be a pyramids?
I don't know. Do you?
Men.
How do you know? Nefertiti was there.
Was she there?
No, she was there after they were built.
After they were built.
We don't know that.
We do know the pharaohs.
Yeah, we do.
We know the pharaohs who were involved when they went up.
Yeah, but still, Eric. Yeah, but still.
It's like my whole thing about Lilith Fair. Remember when that was going on? It's all women. It's all women festival. Yeah, who built the stage? Who hung the lighting? Who hung the speakers?
Hey, my name's Jan. I helped out. I helped out.
Yeah, it's me too, Deb.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like roadies who knew what they were doing had to deal with, there had to be at least 3 female roadies or something. All right. Hey, Jan, go check the generator. Make sure
all
it's
right.
working.
Still running.
It's like the road crews that you see now. There's always a chick holding the slow and the stop
That's
sign.
been around for a long time, though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it hasn't.
But
I'm
I mean,
saying
can I assume that that's the person who's of least value? He or she is the person that you don't mind. Now, never mind the fact that they're actually in charge of the lives of people in their cars because they're kind of they're flowing traffic. And sometimes these things are like a half mile long. And if they make a mistake, you're going to run head on into another vehicle.
When I was a kid growing up in Pennsylvania, Mansfield, if you wanted to get on the county crew holding the sign as a summer job, your parents had to be Democrats and connected because that's how
That's how it goes in this country. Come on in, Tad. Sit down. Pull up a microphone. We don't care if you're here on time or late. It's one of these, this place. You just come in and just join the conversation.
Sorry. Do you want to know the results of my experiment?
What were your experiment? What
B90 late.
You cannot make it from the Arts Center station of MARTA to the airport, find your wife's car in daily parking, and drive back to the radio station.
Wait a minute. You
Not
came
possible.
back. You drove all the way back to the radio station just for this little podcast.
I was trying to sneak it all in.
Yeah.
And I failed.
You failed, but I mean, I think you could have just said, "Hey, I got to go get my wife's car from the airport."
But I mean, every week it's something else, right?
Yeah.
Every week, Jared goes, "Are you joining us on the podcast?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I got a
Yeah,
charity
but usually
thing.
you're like,
this."
I'm reading to homeless people. And I'm like, do
Well,
you really
it's
want to,
important.
or did your bosses tell you they want their host to be a guy who reads to homeless people? What's that reading thing you do? You're trying to read to every child in Georgia.
children.
Yeah.
We already did that. It was the Read to 1K.
Yeah.
And you go around to different schools and you read to children.
Yeah,
It's
see,
a
What if you
lovely,
found a girl? What if you found a
endeavor.
little girl named Kay?
Yeah, you can just read to one, and then you would have read to K. It'd be
Hi, I'm
over.
Kay. I'd love for you to read that story about the caterpillar.
Hello, you 1K.
So,
Singular.
when you do this charity work, are you? What I think you should be judged by, because the idea was you had to read to 1,000 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would judge it differently. I would judge it by 1,000 kids who actually paid attention the whole way.
Right.
So I don't know how many. How many you think you really reached? About 70?
Yeah, probably about that.
When it comes to kids, how old were these kids you're reading to?
Anywhere from like K to maybe second grade.
May?
Okay, well, that's
I'm in kindergarten.
not this K.
But I won, we
wow.
did that contest months ago. We won that. We also do the Great Big Give Back, which is every month we go out, we donate 2 hours of our time to a different charity.
Yeah, boy.
We did Meals on Wheels.
Uh-huh.
We've done CARE, which is an organization
It's
that
about,
helps support
Islamic
families.
and bringing the Islamic people. Is that the one, CARE? Or is it a different CARE?
CAIR.
No, yours was CARE.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've seen them. They help out in national emergencies and stuff, do they not?
No, they help
guess I'm
support
wrong.
families with children with cancer.
I don't know because I don't. Oh, okay, like Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. type of
Exactly.
thing.
That's where it was. That's
Okay.
where we did like a lunch.
All right, so
Have you done shoes for the shoeless?
Yeah, do you do this?
It's on the list. It's
Yeah.
on the list, Autumn.
Do you? Let me ask you this: do you do this as a personality who knows that you need it in social points, or do you do it because you, Tad Lemire, really, 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 really care
I wonder
about the
which one he's
people
gonna
of the
say.
community?
Right. At the end of the day, we are not scraping gum off sidewalks. We're very blessed to be able to have this job.
Yes.
So it's good to get out there. And it's also a great way to like meet people, see what's going on in the community. I especially like the smaller organizations that don't have any, nobody's paying attention to, that we can shine a little light on them.
Now, I don't know how solid I am in my job, so let me ask you this question. I accept your answer, but are they taking resumes for scraping gum off the sidewalk? Because I may need a side hustle. This is radio. And
Yeah,
doesn't
it would
sound
help
like a
you
bad-
with your steps. Maybe you don't get all the steps
Right.
that day, but you like working your upper body for one.
Maybe
It
get some
doesn't-
glute action.
Yeah, it's about time, huh? It doesn't seem like that bad of a job scraping. I'm assuming they have a long holder. You don't have to bend over.
That's true,
I
and
bet
it's
it's a-
probably very satisfying, just like pressure
scraper.
washing might be.
Yeah, you get a scraper.
It's a
and
backbreaker.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Not if you have a long handle.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a if you got a small little thing, you got to bend over every time.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no
It's honest work, right?
Plus,
There's no
the fresher
leverage.
it is, free gum.
What's that?
I said, plus the fresher it is, free gum.
That's right.
There's
Amen.
some added benefits.
It's still got
to
flavor.
the job. I guess that would fall under
This one's still
street
wet.
cleaners.
Yeah.
The street cleaners. Now they have to drive that big Zamboni-like vehicle. But they
You
used
think
to
it's
actually get out
easier
there
to-
and clean the streets with a broom.
Which do you think? Which gig would you take? The street cleaner job or the gum scraping?
Well,
you gotta
I
go street cleaner.
consider gum scraping to be a specialist.
So you would like
Street cleaner is kind of like
Right.
the GP, your general physician.
That's right. If you want to, if you can drive something near a curb,
Yeah.
you can be a street
Right.
sweeper. Now, I think there's an apprenticeship program for
Yes.
people who scrape the gum off the sidewalks.
Well, you find out who the aspirational street cleaners are when they start asking about the gum scraping program. Because they're people, you keep your eye on them because they're going
Right.
to move up in the organization.
Speaking of which, I saw graffiti yesterday, and I was wondering about graffiti removal, like what
Yeah.
that takes, because somebody actually wrote and misspelled "die yuppie scum," which I thought was very
Yep.
retro.
Is that from the 80s?
Die yuppie scum. Yeah. I saw it at a couple of places. I took it very personally.
Yeah. Are you
How
a
did they
yuppie?
spell? Is it
don't
DYE?
Well, it was V. It was like die vuppie. It's like
Oh, it's just
really
you,
poor
you just didn't
penmanship.
see the Y.
Yeah,
right?
the Y was down, the curled under
right,
the bridge.
Right.
You didn't see it. Wow, yuppies. Is that a thing again?
What is a
young,
yuppie?
Young urban professionals. In the
Well,
80s.
isn't that people who
right.
are gentrifying locations?
Yeah, young urban professionals.
People that
So I
work-
guess they're seeing it in gentrification terms because
Yeah.
you know what people would really want more than gentrification? To have all public walls and bridges to be graffitied up
Right.
with no thought or control of it whatsoever. That's a good community. Where you have the people with the block lettering and they have no creativity whatsoever. They all look exactly alike.
In front of Pond City Market, before they put their current graffiti art, that's I guess it's a Braves logo that they have now.
Yeah.
There was one that had Buckhead Betty and another white guy with Buckhead Betty.
That
said-
one's funny.
It was great. They've gotten rid of it now, but
I
they
don't know
said
what Buckhead Betty is.
Buckhead Betty is the symbol. It symbolizes the yuppie, and they're
okay.
get the yuppies out of Midtown. Basically, is what they're trying to say. Take
Right.
it up to Buckhead and where
They
it
really
belongs.
picked the wrong part of town.
Yeah.
Really.
I'll tell you, I think they picked the wrong people. I think they're pretty powerful. I think they're pretty
Yeah.
connected. I like to pick on people who are below me. Better shot of winning. But you're going after the powerful. I don't know. I don't see that as something I can jump on board with because you're probably going to lose.
What does that lady sing about? She's like, when the people rise up,
Oh, yeah, I don't have it on my
powers
board.
come down.
When the
Powers
people
come
rise-
down. That's what she's talking about.
They've been singing this since, I don't know, the 20s or 30s, and the powerful seem to usually end up back on top. This is what I've noticed.
Well, they become powerful, and then they...
Well, it's the old meet the new boss, same as the old
That's
boss.
right.
Meet the new boss. Sing the old boss.
I did notice you took
How
off your
dare you.
glasses to see 2 feet in front of you.
Well,
So
that's
what
my
is that
thing.
cited?
There
you go.
The powers come down.
I'm nearsighted.
Powers come down.
I need glasses for driving and things like that. I'm nearsighted to read. I actually have to take the glasses off.
You
But I
need
feel like-
bifocals, sir.
Yeah, I'm scared of bifocals because visual changes like that in my eyesight sometimes upsets my stomach.
Oh,
and I
really?
know that I have to go through a week or two of that before it all calms down. And so I haven't done that yet. I want to be one of those guys who has readers hanging around my neck at all
Yeah,
times. while
very
I'm wearing
sexy.
With a
But I-
beaded
The ones that
chain.
connect at the middle?
Yes.
Yes.
A complete D-bag. So I'm convinced that I look better with glasses than without.
You
because
are.
I have the old
You
man
do.
eyes. Got those
Yes.
big. I got to do something about the.
I got that. The little
you
lines
got
under
not
the
like
eyes.
not the lines.
What do you mean do
I don't
something
care
about
about
it?
the eyes, the lines. I care about all the
Botox.
all the water. It's not the lines.
Why don't you get some
the
plastic
puffy.
surgery?
No, I'm not going to do that. I was
Eric,
thinking maybe
this
I
is
could
what
take
you
care
need.
of myself.
This is what you need to do. Either you need to do a couple of things, right?
Drink more water.
Yeah, drink more water, but also you can get these things on Amazon. They're like gold eye patches. You keep
Yeah.
them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And you put them on in the morning, and you just drive. Maybe you could drive to work in them and take them off before you
Oh,
walk
that
in.
wouldn't look strange.
He'd forget.
No one would notice. No one. You're driving. Nobody cares. No one's looking at you.
There's
What about-
slots
I'm
for your
awake.
eyes, right?
Yeah, I'm awake. After I get downstairs. So,
Oh, there you go.
So I'm awake for over an hour and a half.
Stick them on your face
Can
when
I
you
take
go
'em
down on
off?
the fridge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I
And
eat
then
my
they'll
oatmeal,
it will while you're eating your oatmeal, and taking care of your tummy.
Yeah.
Then you'll take care of your eye bag.
All right. Well, send me a link.
Okay.
I will
would you
do
share
that.
that with me?
Sure.
Yeah,
It's also
I'd
about
like it,
it's
too.
all about water retention because it thinks
Salt.
it's saving water. So I guess if we drank more water, your body doesn't feel the need to hold it in little sockets underneath your eyeballs. But come on, what I would say to the body is, let's say that I am dehydrated. How much is that much water going to help me? Oh, that little bit that's in the
Little
bag
eye
under
waters.
You're like, I'm thirsty.
Wow. Well, that body's going to be able to take care of me for at least 15 minutes.
It's saving it for a good cry.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm waiting.
That, or we are in a big drought.
Yeah.
Who's to say
I
that could go down to South Georgia and slice my eye bags open.
But it's salt water, so that's not good.
It's not good.
You better watch yourself.
I'll run it through a purifier.
Somebody could attack you for your eye water.
For my eye privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sucking out of your eyeball.
I'm thirsty. Give me your eye bag. Wouldn't that be something if it became valuable and then people like me would have to hide from public because people would be gouging my eyeballs out?
It's the next AMC series.
Eye water.
Previously on Eye Water.
On a very special episode of Eye Water.
Eye wash.
Oh, my,
Do you have
eye
a...
water.
Did I ask you this when you walked in? Do you have a secret bank account or a secret credit card that you don't tell your wife about?
No.
You can tell us. She
knows about them. She has. So I have the bank account.
Yeah.
And then she has the credit card, and we pay everything
right
through the one credit
But she
card,
can
which has
see-
been an issue because she doesn't have like liquid cash or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't need it.
'Cause
You got
you,
the credit cards. You're good.
Okay. Good. Well, what would she need liquid cash for? You
I
have
don't
a
know.
credit card.
That's a
Couldn't she
secret
go to an ATM?
clandestine activities. This is why I'm saying.
No. Is she with the kid during the day?
Yeah.
That makes sense. You need cash sometimes.
Well, she's not getting it, apparently, according to the ruler of the home.
She needs it, is what I'm
I
saying.
don't know. Is it wrong? Am
Are we
I doing
talking
it
about
wrong?
cash?
The king of his castle.
Yeah.
Who needs cash?
Well,
sometimes you need some cash because you need ones or something so you can get quarters to buy them a gumball in
I
the
know
beginning of the grocery store so that they'll shut up while you're grocery shopping.
Back in the old days, I'll tell you why I shut up when we were grocery shopping, because my dad scared the hell out of me. You kids today, I guess, need other things. But I was not going to act up while grocery shopping because my dad scared the hell out of me. I forgot what my point was going to be. So, I know. When I needed cash back in the old days, but this is before the digital world, would be whenever I bought pornography. I don't want the credit card to say he bought pornography. So you go to the ATM, you get cash, and you pay for it, and that way you don't have a receipt on, all that kind of stuff.
I don't want my wife buying porn, So this is how I control
She's
things.
a woman. She doesn't buy porn.
Anybody that buys it now is a moron.
Yeah. Well, maybe they have exclusive models that only I have to pay to get that, to get
Still
the
find
exclusive.
it for free if you work hard enough.
Are you crazy?
Huh?
What?
I don't know.
I had no idea. Well, that's one of the tenets of the von Haessler Doctrine. Everybody's favorite. I think it's number 3 or 5. Or
It's
7.
pretty high up there.
It's Which one? It's the one that says never use your credit card while your pants are down around your ankles.
Oh, and I have them.
That's what I say when I hand my wife the Amex card.
Whatever you do.
Like,
Do women
listen,
ever
kid.
have fun with their pants down around their ankles? It seems to me they remove their pants usually. They're not like
No.
Men are animals.
Not if they're at the office.
I'm talking about when they're alone. You ever see stuff online? You see porn online, and you just think, I don't know, is this happening in places in Atlanta or like I was always freaked out by public displays of sex. I've always been. It's never been something I'm interested in. I find it interesting that if you do it 10 years later, it's a great story that you can tell and everybody laughs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it and you get caught at the time, you're like public enemy number 1. They were having sex at SunTrust Park. How disgusting. But if you hear the story 10 years later at a cocktail party, everybody laughs. But I've never been into it myself. But you look and you see things online where you go, there's a supermarket right about. This is a parking lot. How are people? Is this happening all around me and I'm just not looking for it? Because there's a lot of pornography. Every day, new pornography and people doing things out in the streets. And yet in my life, I've never turned to my left or right and seen people. One time when I was a little kid, I was out in the woods and I ran into a couple that was getting it on. But, I was in the middle of the woods.
Well, Roswell's not exactly the hub of deviant
Pornography?
sexual
Well, you may not know, but I have lived in many places in my life. I've lived in Los Angeles, California, right next to the capital of pornography.
Well, Los Angeles is happening everywhere now.
You don't think Roswell? You don't think? Come on now, Roswell, the Roswell Bettys.
Yeah, the Roswell Bettys.
Come on.
With their
the Randy Roswells.
Their Xanax love.
I don't go looking for this kind of thing, but I hear if you want a nice little hookup with a married lady.
Oh, yeah. Rosie Roswell.
Every time I get online, something pops up and tells me that I can hook up right here in Roswell.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
All you
They're
gotta
just
do is click that
using-
little button.
They're using where is it your IP address or where your modem is sending out
Whatever
the
it
signal
is.
from?
Yeah, I get less of it when I'm on the VPN because they don't care about England. Hey, hotties right here in Chatham.
That's what you're looking at.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that would be pornography.
Gee.
Eric, I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to admit that I do from time to time. I have seen the pornography. Yes.
Eric, I ordered those gold things for you. They're coming to your house.
You're paying for them?
Yeah.
Wow, look at you. Look who's all grown up.
How much were they?
$10.
Oh, yeah.
For what? For one? Two?
No.
What, do you keep
How
using
many?
them over and over again?
No, babe. No. Hold on a sec.
Babe.
No, oh, babe.
Bob
Sorry.
Oh, look, now she's taking care of you. She's buying you things.
I got like a Dylan-esque kind of thing. Oh, babe.
Yeah, babe.
Or,
Hey, me.
Roger Waters. Ooh, babe.
Don't leave
There's like two albums. One of them a double album where Roger Waters says "ooh, babe" in almost every song. Ooh, babe.
30. You're going to get 30.
30.
Yes.
You can give me a couple, right?
Crystal collagen gold powder eye mask.
You only use them once and throw them away?
Yeah.
That can't be good for the sea turtles.
They're kind of silicone-y.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll eventually break down.
Next thing you know, your body's going to be developing like silicone for reserves of
Who
that.
knows?
Look, you can look like this girl. Look, you'll look like her.
she has that. Yeah, I'm not driving.
Nice.
I'm not driving to work like that, but I will sit in my house like that.
You're going to look like the Territon cigarette ads from the early
Yeah,
70s.
hey.
Yeah.
The guy would punch the lady to get the cigarette from.
Looks like a Bowie video.
Remember that?
Yes.
It's good. I have them. I use them.
Oh, you use them? Well, you're good with the bags.
Let's get a close up under the eyes.
No, she's good.
I mean, they're not great right now.
Well, it's what you've gotten. It's what they're not, though. I mean,
Yeah.
what would they be without that? Mine
And
are just
I have that expensive serum that was a real story.
expensive serum.
Yeah, I did that. I spent way
already-
too much money on some serum, but I love it.
Now, before you're spending all this money on this stuff, please tell me you're making sure to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and you're getting plenty of water, and your diet, because all those things are going to have more of an effect.
Yeah, but she's a mom. They don't sleep.
They're too busy.
That's true.
Yeah, moms don't sleep.
I've been getting up every morning from 4 to 5:30 or something, and then back to sleep until 7:30.
You know what you need?
And then 1 o'clock this morning with Ellie.
You know what you need?
They kicked us out of the bed. Yep.
A lot of millions and millions and millions of dollars is what you need.
Yeah.
That's why she's calling you babe.
You have nannies. And you just
I'll just throw money at a problem.
Yeah, just so what? They're going to love you because you're the mom.
Yeah.
And Travis because he's the dad. And he takes him out to play Pokemon Go. I guess he seems like the coolest dad in the world then. It will only be later when they're in their 30s. They'll go, wow, that was weird. Dad was in a
No,
kid's
it'll be
game."
a bond. It's cute.
So you have, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm losing my train of thought all over
Yeah.
the place.
You were saying about money. I
Oh no,
think.
yeah. If you have millions of dollars, you can just pawn them off to your to your nannies.
No, I did a good with
and
this
and they will
serum.
become attached to the nanny, yes, but not more so than being the mom or the dad. But they will become attached to the nannies.
I'm
You
going to
can't
ignore
worry
that
about
premise. The serum I had a free sample of for a year, and I used just one little drop on like spots on my face.
Yeah,
and
this is a
I
spot
loved it.
remover.
Well, so I have you get the pimple cream from just the store. It's just a regular white pimple cream.
Yeah,
You know, like,
Eric endorses the pimple cream.
Yeah.
Right. So when I use that, it just turns my pimple that's coming into just like a red mound that's very unsatisfying. You can't squeeze it. Nothing
Yeah.
comes out of it, but it just stays red and horrible on your face for
It's
way
just
too
there
long.
to make you embarrassed.
Right. So I went to get a facial once, and I got an anti-aging
Whoa,
facial.
you can't just say that. All right, go ahead.
All right. Sorry, Tim. And
Hey, why? I didn't.
You're the one. You went.
Jared. I did not do
Was
anything.
it
Jared
Jared?
looked at me.
Was it you?
Yes,
No,
it
that
was Jared.
Tim.
It was
I don't
not
know
me.
what's going on
Totally
there.
Tim.
Who's that? Who's doing that? Was that
Not-
you, Jared?
No, sir, Mr. Von Haessler. It was not me. No, sir.
Autumn, was that you?
what? No, I'm wanting to know who it is also.
Tim?
It was not me. I swear.
What, Tad?
Never.
Is that-
Oh,
Let me
Tad.
tell you something. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I will find out who it is. I guarantee.
So I got this anti-aging facial. She gave me a sample. I told her that problem. She said, maybe you're using the wrong kind of acid on your face. So she gave me a different kind of acid, dude. And I put it under my tongue, and it was freaking awesome.
14 hours of fun.
My pimple was better. My pimple went into a different dimension, bro.
I didn't want to lose it after that. It was your friend.
I started using that, and I loved it. And so then I looked when it was empty how much it was online, and I was like, $200-something. Get out of here. And then I ordered it.
Yeah. You're like me with Apple products.
Yeah.
I'll see a new product and I don't need that. And then slowly over the next 3 to 6 weeks, I'll come up with reasons why I do. I just there's money in my wallet that belongs to Tim Cook.
Well, what I did was I broached it with Travis like this. I said, hey, I was looking up that serum.
Yeah.
Can you believe how much it is? Try and guess. He was like, 80? No. 100? No. And he kept going up, and I told him the price. He's like, man, that's really gross. But I had already ordered it.
Yeah.
It was already on the way.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, so gross, right?
Who would do that?
Yeah, weird. Whoops. I did. I did it.
I don't know how your husband, Travis, is as a husband. Travis, I don't know how you are as a husband.
I think I'm a good guy.
Okay, I think you're a good guy too. I
Okay.
don't know how you are as a husband and a father. I'm very much like I never say no to things. Is it going to make you happy? Order it. I mean, unless it's $1 billion. But if it's $200 and some dollars, and are you going to be happy? Order it. Now, obviously, you have to have the money to pay the bills first.
Yeah.
If it's competing with, my cigarette money. Now we're in trouble.
That's like my first boyfriend.
Hey, Dad, can I get a fleshlight?
Hey, is it going to make you happy?
It might. Until I have to clean it.
Yeah, get your mother to order it.
Mom!
A flashlight?
Aren't those things dangerous?
No, they're
if you
not
don't clean
dangerous.
them.
Imagine if you don't clean them. Yeah,
Anything's dangerous.
But you'd be able to tell if you don't clean them.
You're not putting your into anything.
They get mold on them if you don't clean them.
A little mildewy.
Yeah, but won't that? Can you give yourself an STD? I wonder.
You could give
No, you
yourself a
already have
fungal
the
infection.
Okay, a fungal
Yeah.
infection. You couldn't give yourself an STD.
You already have. You can't give yourself.
Right,
You
I
have
get it. I was just asking, but a fungal infection you could
Yeah,
give
you
yourself
could.
because if you didn't clean it up and then I don't know a month later pulled it out of storage.
Ugh.
And then just
Storage. Yeah, I keep it at the public. I gotta go. I pay $90 a month.
I gotta go out to I call it the toy shack.
Yeah. Hey, I keep everything in there. I
Well,
pop in.
we have grandkids and
We got-
stuff. I
got
don't
a
want
fan
them.
in there. You're
That's
Pop
fine.
in, pop out.
Yeah, pop
That's
in,
your
pop
man
out.
cave. Is your storage unit?
I don't have a man cave.
I knew
that's the
someone
worst.
that lived
hate
in a
that
storage
expression.
unit.
You did?
Yeah.
How? Well, you gotta go to the bathroom in a bucket because there's
Yeah.
no running water.
It was my cousin's boyfriend, and when I found out that she was with him still, after she found out that he lived in the storage unit.
Yeah, you gave her a thumbs up and said, "That's a winner."
Yeah, exactly.
Who is it? Your girlfriend's brother or something?
My cousin's boyfriend.
Are they
at the
still
time.
together?
No, thank the Lord.
Yeah,
Autumn, are you rolling something right now?
a
Yeah,
joint,
Jay, baby.
big old joint. What are you doing?
Yeah, dog. It's a sticker from my from Ellie's elementary
Oh,
school.
you're just fidgeting. You were
Could
a
have read to
visitor.
the kids, did you?
I was a visitor.
Oh, yeah, that looks like great security. She's got a visitor badge. She's fine.
They won't let you in the door.
Yeah?
Without, there's 2 doors you have to get through.
See, that's what there ought to be. There ought to be 2 doors to get through. Now, hopefully you can get out quickly if there's a fire, but you got to have one of those doors you can get out of really easy, but locked on the way in. 2 doors in
The doors
every
are
entrance.
locked. There's a camera and a what is that called? Like a thing, a button, an intercom.
Yeah.
And they talk to you and they're like, "What do you want? Who rang that bell?"
Ah! So, but usually with most schools, maybe not elementary, I don't know, but I don't know the ones that have been built lately, but usually there's like there's a way to get into the gym, which gets you into the locker room, which then has another access to the building where, you'd have to make sure that every single entry point had 2 spots. Stop smoking. What would what would your daughter's teachers think if they saw you smoking the visitor's badge as if it were a joint?
It's for my glaucoma.
Is that what it is?
Did you guys talk on your radio show about the schools that are doing metal detectors? There was an actuality from some kid who was like, well, it's an invasion of privacy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, 16-year-old. What did you say again now?
Yeah. I love when kids... Well, we're being lectured at the UN by 16-year-olds now, so apparently they know more than us.
Right.
No, I love when kids stand on their rights. Say, well, you're still a minor. technically. And if you
You
look in
don't
the
have
law,
those things.
The adults still make the rules. And by the way, and that's just a kid being a kid, right? It's like when it's the banana story for Eric, when I stole that $20 from my mom's purse, which I still feel bad about in 5th grade.
Did you ever apologize?
No.
No?
I didn't feel that bad about it. I apologized about other things. But I went and bought a whole bunch of bananas, and I ate like 5 of them before I got on the bus. I thought, nobody's stopping me now. My dad had left. My mom was working all night. To me, I get $20. I would go buy all the bananas I can buy. And then when I was vomiting, that was freedom to me. But your parents couldn't tell you only one. And so and then when I was vomiting by noon, that's when I realized, they're not doing it just to be mean. There's actually a reason that adults step in and curtail these.
I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to teach Ellie that right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell her, like, the reason why I'm saying no to these things is because I'm trying to help you. What you don't feel like it's helpful, but I'm really trying to help you. You know, you need actual food in your stomach, like dinner. You can't just have fruit snacks all day. You know. I feel annoyed.
I don't know. My parents just beat the hell out of me. I got the point after a while.
Yeah, that usually solidified it.
It didn't take long, but it was like, oh, don't touch that. It hurts. Don't say that. It hurts. Now, I'm not saying that we should go back to that.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some happy medium.
It's a new culture.
What about your 17 dads? Did any of them smack you around?
No, I came close one time to getting a spanking, but then
One time you almost got a spanking?
One time I almost got a spanking. Yeah, and what happened was I got pulled back in the closet, and I remember...
You came out with your sexuality.
Get back in that closet, Jared. Not ready. Get back in there. No son of mine is gay.
I knew I walked into that one.
So why were you in the closet?
No. So
were you sent to your closet?
I was sent to the closet to go get the spanking. My stepfather came in there at the time, and he's like, "All right, just pretend like you're you're getting spanked."
He's a good guy. He was a good guy.
And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I
your
did
mom
it.
was leaning on him to be the aggressor.
Yeah, to be the aggressor,
right.
and I gained mad respect for this stepdad.
Hitting your kids is proven to stop whatever it is you're trying to stop in the moment.
Yeah.
But there's like a really high percentage of recidivism.
But I wasn't a guy who hit it. A lot of people also go, well, I'm not going to do it the way my parents did because I hated that. But you still have to be a disciplinarian. You got to find the way.
Yes.
I don't believe in talking through every issue with kids. They're kids. They don't understand reason. Do you remember when you were 6 years old on a Saturday when you go outside from 8 in the morning and only break it up with lunch and a little bit of dinner, and then when the sun went down? And didn't it seem like 4 days?
Yeah.
I mean, time has no meaning. So you can't reason with kids and they go, tomorrow it'll be this way.
Last night Pete was freaking out. He was so tired. It was just that thing where it's like nothing can be done. And he was screaming, and we were trying to get him to brush his teeth, and it was just not going to happen. So I was just like, he was just crying. I was just brushing his teeth. He was like, ah!
Like if a social worker walked into that moment, they would remove him immediately.
Yeah, maybe.
Tad?
We're glossing over the fact that Jared got taken into a closet to get his spankings.
I know. What kind of closet is this?
I hope it's a walk-in. It was a spanking.
It's like a panic room?
Yeah, put this ball gag in your mouth.
You've been a very, very bad boy. All right, Tad, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I always love having you. I don't know what the listeners, anybody knew.
It's all right.
He's not a
Listen,
real...
I'll be gone tomorrow. Greg will be back, so there you go.
You and me, we've got something these listeners don't have. Our own radio shows. Let them eat cake. All right, enjoy your cake for another 24 hours or so. We'll be back. We'll do it again. We'll see you then.